As the shadow turn got a little bit delayed this time, I'm recording this separately. But you, as an audience, will see it just before the chapter that this is associated with. Hence the darkness around the overlay, and you can't see my face right now, and only hear my voice. So, before this chapter, we had another turn of the Game of Shadows, and things happened in various places. In the fisheries, everything was very quiet, because there were no resources there, and if you don't have resources in a spot, you can't really do anything there. You have to have resources to do a conspiracy. So no resources means no conspiracies. In Lowtown there was more activity, as you can see, lots of resources there who are ready to duke it out. Fundibera, in fact, the witch Fundibera, who is anti-creationist and has her own interesting agendas around the Empire, she decided to raise influence to level 1 and succeeded with this. This is how it happened. The priests can see the aching burdens of those who live here. The people need a righteous beacon of hope, and the priests will provide it. Passing a priest who was hurrying to Lowtown, a military officer stopped quickly to hear whispered tales of horrors at the infirmary. Something was terribly wrong with the medicine there. Now, in Golma, the mafioso leader, organized crime boss from Tresilva, tried to hinder this. Lowtown belongs to the family, and Fundibera has made no arrangements here. The gambling dens and protection money keep citizens happy, and unless these newcomers, they don't know the people, can't tend to them like their godmother can. So the bookies there will do what they can to stop these priests from their attempt. Klenora's seamstress, Klenora Spinalunga being Duchess Spinalunga, loyal to the Empress, is also trying to hinder. Every successful organization has a signature look, be that a logo they apply to their goods or a particular uniform, something that employees can take pride in applying or wearing, and something that the public can readily identify. The seamstress consults with the godmother and her people to design a dress code that helps the citizens of Lowtown readily know which authoritarian figures have been generously offering their help regularly for some time, and who is trying to foist their particular brand of aid more recently. Now, Gerion's laborers helped Fundibera, and because of that help, the conspiracy succeeded, and Fundibera raised the influence to level 1. Meanwhile, Graficano stayed out of all that, and the bureaucrats that were previously level 2 became level 3 as they mobilized. Functionaries from the garrison began taking stock of the state of the physical plant resources in the area in a bid to render their operations more efficient. The infirmary was also quiet because, again, no resources there. But the wharf and warehouses was a hive of activity. As you can see, a lot of resources there, and intense intriguing and backstabbing. Vemsica took the lead here, really, the pirate queen. The young street urchins began running as soon as the consternation begins at the camp. His underfed legs pumping towards the hill, her hands death gripping the 2 shiny coins that the painted man gave her, a small fortune to the street rats that will feed the Erzatz family for weeks upon weeks. She arrives on the hill and begins to hurriedly look for the thing that she's told will be there. There, a scrap of green fabric on a long reed. She grabs the flag and begins to futilely wave it over her head. On the Reaver's daughter, a voice is heard from the crow's nest. It bellows, "Green flag! Green flag!" In response, a red flag is run up the ship's main mast. Then it begins. The predetermined signal was given, and the crew springs into action, splitting into 4-man teams of Marines and archers. These teams begin to sweep the docks, assuring all that is purely security reinforcement. All activities above and below boards will be allowed to restart once the docks are secured. And this is Vemsica going for influence level 3 at the docks, which is total dominance. Goba da Grummi is, of course, the leader of the Digitalonga, and she had a resource here, which is not showing up at the moment because of what happens later. A merchant, in fact, who helps by spying out friends in the market and sells more than just wares. And Klenora's merchant also helps. He sees the increased activity and urges other merchants and people of wealth that it's bad for business to get involved in such affairs, especially since this is the only location where goods of any true value are coming and going. Best to lie low and stay out of their way until this settles down. You can't get ahead if you are missing ahead. Even Lemur's spies help. These spies see the red flag go up and begin to creep through the crowds of confused citizenry. Flags black as the color of despair appear on every location where a known subversive resides to mark their location for the crew. If 1 or 2 of these so marked are innocent Trakorians, well, they all say that, don't they? Finally, and Limersped is, of course, the revolutionary from Trinsmira, the militant revolutionary from Trinsmira fighting against Trakorians. Sambarsin is the Inquisitor commander, and his merchant also helps Vemsica. Lots of help from all sorts of powers here, because merchants and sailors must stick together. And so, because of this overwhelming help, Vemsica succeeds. There are 3 successes on the roll. And Vemsica then establishes influence level 3, and every other shadow power loses their influence in the area, and Vemsica buys a new resource, Terror Squad level 1. After that, Graphicanus used the Mentalist Magic 4 to attack Goba da Grummi's Merchant level 2, which is why we don't see it here anymore. In danger of being rendered destitute by his business rival's superior, because backed by necromantic spying, market information, the merchant frantically turns his mind to his own affairs, but seems to make one wrong decision after another. It's as if a lifetime of business instincts have been replaced by something else, and so that merchant is taken off the board by nefarious mentalist magic from the Shagulites. Finally, Ingolma is also there and is in fact raising influence to level 1. And this is done by the Underworld Traders level 3. And the struggles at the wharf and warehouses have largely left Ingolma alone. Fortunately, this allows her to quietly capitalize on the lack of attention by insinuating her underworld traders securely in the area. They claim a particular warehouse all to themselves and begin moving product. And it was a success, so she now has a level 1 influence there, which gives her some information about things. We move on to the garrison. And up there, some activity as well. Klenora used her butler to raise her influence to level 2. And the butler returns to his lady's side and immediately moves to help with identifying those staff that need additional training after being left to their own devices in such a backwater place. He generously offers to provide supplemental lessons. This is supported by Vemsica. Callisto arrives in a flurry with a seamstress lending her savage looks and dark abilities to her plots and schemes. And the Goba da Grummi's wizard is also helping out using magical means. And so Klenora achieves influence level 2 in the garrison. In Hightown, there is also a lot going on this turn. The courtiers have reached a level of passive aggression that white suburban women can only dream of. None dare cross their path without an epic public shaming. Gerion Groteski thus raises his influence level to level 3. Gerion Groteski being the Palamuxi independence leader. Goba's spy there helps and makes sure that the correct employer... No, she hinders it. She tries to stop it, in fact. I'm sorry. She tries to make sure that the correct employers give the correct employees an appropriate raise or a pat on the back to keep the workforce happy. But Graficanus's agents actually step in on Gerion's side. Agents of the Shagulites visit their friends and neighbors in Hightown, bringing news of the events of the day. The wharfs in the hands of pirates, the sulfur camp seized by freedom fighters, we'll get to that, and the Digitalonga turning a blind eye to it all. One wonders why. The rumors initially travel on fan-shielded whispers or cautious words spoken over brandy and tea with long-standing neighbors and friends. A meaningful look here, a coded phrase there. Bread and butter to the sorts of people who once lived at court or claimed to. Among them are at least a few people of the type to promise absolute discretion, then immediately break that promise. Gradually the whispers get louder, as those things tend to when people are simultaneously scared and invigorated. Because no one can claim that things have been boring in Arhem lately. Have you heard about Digitalonga how they've been treating Baudeville Scoffer? If he is a target, who's next? And so on. The denizens of Hightown are loyal cities of the Empire, of course, but that doesn't seem like much protection these days, does it? Not with the Digitalonga apparently preoccupied with harassing the better sorts of people instead of restoring order. Limer Spede, who is, of course, again, the Transmedian freedom fighter, also helps. In Hightown, power rests squarely in the hands of the nobility and the well-to-do. At least that's what they would have you believe. The toughs and their carefully selected displayed orphans are eager to prove the lower classes that without them a noble couldn't even handle their own chamber pot, let alone dress themselves. For those worthies who ignore the vicious mockery of the Manticore's courtiers and the whispered warnings from the Shagulite agents, a new hurdle emerges. Their servants haven't done their laundry, or helped them dress, or cooked their food. On cold nights, their servants aren't even warming their coverlets before bedtime. And finally, Fundibera also helps Gerion, everybody except Goba. The prostitutes who frequent Hightown know that the courtiers are on the rise, and it would be good to have friends in high places. Thus, Gerion succeeded with his conspiracy, raised his influence to level 3, and bought a new resource, personal security level 1. That was Hightown, and we had nothing happening in the market because there's only one resource there and it's already maxed out, so it couldn't mobilize further. And the last area is the Sulfur Camp, where there was also shenanigans. In fact, Limer Spede's assassins raised influence to level 3. The one truly incontrovertible fact of life in Arhem is always staring you right in the face, or at least your nose. After all, it's the sulfur trade that puts this place on the map. Research and sneaking be damned, and who cares why the Shagulites are here? A suitable cat's paw must be installed one way or the other. Sambrasin's secret agents of the Inquisition has been paying attention to the sulfur mines. These cannot remain in the hands of the anti-creationist scum of Shagulites, and thus help Limer Spede. Coteries of lads and lasses from Vemsika's Unicorn also arrive at the sulfur camp with orders to bait certain people away from the camp to the waiting assassins. Nurses from the Shagulites infirmary tried their best to save the lives of those targeted for the assassination, in full knowledge that their efforts are likely too little too late. But this is why they're working for the Shagulites to begin with, to mitigate the chaos these newcomers brought to Arhem as best as they can. Ingolma Dokella has many friends, and those who aren't her friends certainly want to be. It's possible the mafioso's sudden presence in the Sulphur camp is the provided backup protection for the people you know. It's all about friendship. And at the end of the day, Lemur succeeded, and he buys a Pyromancer level 1, which is a type of wizard, and he now is dominant in the Sulphur camp. So an anti-Trakorian independence guerrilla leader is now in control of the Sulphur camp. I'm not sure that's going to be good for the Trakorians. Finally, Fundibera's soldiers, level 4, attack Graphicanus' nurses. Once the soldiers arrived to the Sulphur camp, it didn't take much provocation for them to see undue violence by a nurse against a soldier seeking treatment. Healthcare is becoming an increasingly dangerous profession, and Fundibera is very successful and eliminated the nurse resource completely. Finally, Gerion's spies tried to raise influence to level 1. They've seeded doubt to the workers about their employers. That's what they've been trying to do, but they failed, so that didn't go anywhere. And that was the Game of Shadows turn for this chapter. And we are back to Arhem. Agents plying their trade, pursuing their objectives and goals in the city that was forgotten by all the gods except Morda, the spirit of the glacier, I guess. Welcome, everyone. This show is rated R because people will do terrible things to each other. Some of them will be protagonists and some of them will be antagonists, and so on. Let me introduce our players for this evening. On my my overlay is not the same as usual for because of course we have Malik here. But I'll start on the left. We have Sin.
I am Cincinnatus. I'm playing Lady Taralese da Bravaleti.
And then we have Josh. Who is apparently muted.
Yep, just realized that. Thanks. Sorry, folks. Josh Lapointe, I'm playing Erald de Mereld.
And then we have one of the Jessicas.
Hey everyone, I'm Jessica New. I'm playing Malachite.
And the other Jessica will join us shortly. Alright, did anyone want to summarize what happened last session for our dear agents? Unfortunately, the chalice is empty, so I can't give you a fate die for that brave narrative contribution.
I mean, it's pretty quick. Everyone's dead at the temple, and something's rotten in the state of Denmark, or rather at the Iron Tower.
Yep, that's definitely part of it. Yes, Praanz and Erald was investigating the Kmorda temple, and it was very silent, very quiet, very abandoned. And meanwhile, in Arhem, what was going on there? Taralese and Malachi were doing things.
Mostly getting into Nin's head. That was pretty much the extent of what was going on after the horse thievery.
Indeed, yes. A horse thief. Someone is eager to spend. I'm not going to say ill-begotten cash. Stealing from a dragon doesn't feel like it's ill-begotten at all. But Nin Halaska came back to town and working your talents and powers, you did manage to get a whole lot of clues about secrets goings on. And the green man. The green man with the melty face. Yes, that one. And that is basically where we ended. I had also summarized a little bit about how little the dragon actually hurt Arhem. So that was a good thing, probably. But here we are again. Is Lady Taralese... we should mention that Malachi will, alas, not join us. And we wish him the best, of course. So, Lady Taralese... Are you sleeping at the Unicorn now, Lady Taralese?
No, I believe we'd left off at midday.
Yes, we did. Indeed. Yes, we are midday. Sorry, my head is in the clouds. I've even put it on the clock here, like at 1 p.m. It's even noon, to be honest. So, yes.
Yeah, the only reason she had gone to the Unicorn was to get Nin away from the garrison, where there's the zombified servants running around who are of questionable loyalty at the moment.
Indeed. Yes, they are, the step-forward servants. That's what we're calling them, aren't we? So where will she be going now?
After discussing getting Nin off of or out of Arhem, she is going to confer with Nin about what all she needs, and especially what she needs to get it in writing about everything that she saw.
Ah, right. Yes. This will probably take a while, I'm gonna say, because she is still suffering from a shock. There is no doubt about that. Nin is every once in a while trembling on her hand. But she is also an agent of the throne, and also a very ambitious agent of the throne, clearly wanting to climb the ranks. And thus she will do her level best to act professionally and collect herself and jot down as many of her memories as possible, because she understands just as well as Lady Taralese how important this will be to create that, I'm not going to say paper trail, clay tablet trail with all the proper seals to impress her superiors in Tresilva and get things done that way. So she's absolutely going to collaborate with Lady Taralese on that, and just, you can bring in a scribe, or she can, I don't think she wants a scribe present. She definitely can write herself, so can Lady Taralese. You're both educated enough to process these types of documents in all the proper ways. So is this just you and her sitting in the chamber and using the reed pens on clay tablets? Possibly also parchment, because duplicates is rather bad.
Probably. And what an insult, assuming that she's has a true education. I'm really. But anyway, so unfortunately, for as much as is actually happening, unfortunately, a lot of it's just going to be administrative paperwork BS. So
administrative paperwork
have
BS.
Fun.
Have fun with it,
yes.
yes.
It's as thrilling as it sounds.
It's exactly as thrilling as it... I'm going to have you roll for paperwork. No, I'm not. Maybe I should. I think the appropriate ability for that would probably be scholarship or something like that. But there is, in fact, given how bureaucratic the Trakorian Empire can be, there is surprisingly no ability for being a bureaucrat in this, or not even an expertise under any of the other abilities, which is interesting, because you'd think that there would be, at some level, I want to make a mess out of the red tape in the bureaucracy, just to, but there is no such ability. I could code it in under learning, I suppose. I'm guessing that most high-level bureaucrats have some learning, or Machinator, that works too. Do we want to use Machinator to create an artifact here? We can do that if you want.
I mean, the only other thing I could think of would be artistry with forgery.
Yes, that would work too. But this time you're not actually forging anything. You are earnestly working on putting down an honest account of what Nin saw.
Right.
You might want to exaggerate here and there, but it's not going to be a forgery. Let's see now. I'm going to put out Nin as well. We need her, right? Where's Nin?
Yeah, I'd imagine for the seamstress and the butler, she's probably having them go and run interference for anyone else that tries looking for them or starts maybe getting a little too nosy, a little too interested.
Ah, yes. But that would be interference around the unicorn, right? And I think...
or at the garrison, if they need to be making excuses for why neither of them are there, or why things are disappearing from Nin's offices that she set up.
Oh, right. Yes, they're gonna smuggle things. I like it. Let's have a look here. We have... The butler is supposedly up in the garrison right now. This is true. And the seamstress is, in fact... Where's the seamstress? She's working in Lowtown right now. She's been working in Lowtown for the past little while. Okay. Why don't we have... Josh, did you want to maybe do a roll for the butler here? I've given you... Oh, I haven't even jotted down his stats yet because I'm a terrible person. I'm guessing they're just the average 2s, except for his abilities, which, of course, Sin has already given us very nicely, which is Machinator, Artistry, maybe Gang Leader?
I didn't know, because it makes sense as a butler that he would have his own gang.
Yeah,
of
why
people,
not?
Not necessarily violent, but...
No, it's just other servants that he's leading around, right? And some of them can be more muscly than others. Like, they can work as a hit squad in a pinch. They're not going to be a powerful such. But,
Oh, being able to fetch and carry does lead to some degree of physical strength.
Exactly. So if you want to roll, I'm going to suggest, Josh, that you roll a fire check here to, because he's sneaking about, he's trying not to attract attention, and discretion is his expertise there. I think that means that he gets to add a fate die to sneak rolls. Indeed, he gets to do that. So you'll have
3d6.
3d6, indeed.
Excellent.
That is 2 successes. Let's have a look at... Since he is like a minion, he doesn't have experiences to use. That's an important difference between minions and player characters. I'm gonna roll for someone's wind, but I'm gonna just make it an average 2d6, and we'll see if anyone notices him skulking about. Oh dear! That's a 5 and a 6 versus your 1-4. He's caught! As he's sneaking about there, he goes up to Lady Taralese's quarters, I believe, to get things out of there, and that is when some servants, I would think, are coming in to take care of the bed. You know, the bed has to be made for the lady. They are being very thorough when making the bed. Including, you know, turning the bed upside down, opening the cupboards to check all the clothes, you know, because they might need maintenance. You never know. There was a pretty raucous banquet the other week. Maybe some of the clothes need stitching up. Oh, maybe she has some sewing supplies in this desk over here. Will Corrimon do anything about any of this?
He'll nonchalantly probably walk into the room, and then as he sees them kind of tearing the room apart, for lack of a better term,
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Waits to be recognized.
They will turn. Oh, Master Coromand, this is a bad time. If you could come back later, we're taking care of the lady's room.
Coromand at that point will actually do the look left to right and see the estate that the actual room is in, and say, "Well, you may need actually more servants in here if that's the case, because you're making an awful mess."
Oh, but to clean things up properly, you have to do it in a very thorough fashion.
Ah. This is very odd ways here on the island.
Well, yes, we understand. You're from the Empire. You just aren't used to how we do things here in Arhem yet.
At this point, yeah, he did. Based off character set here, he will actually just kind of wait outside of the room until they're done.
Very well. Yeah, he will know for a fact that they are very thorough.
Yeah.
they do a complete search of Lady Taralese's room. Is there anything in your room there, Lady Taralese, that would be incriminating in any fashion? Like, I guess you have brought your seal to the unicorn because you need it for doing this thing with Ninhalaska. Is there anything else there that could be that they might be able to find?
I think the only other thing they could maybe find would be that ledger that got made up. For the trade house?
Yes, indeed. They will probably abscond with that, yes. That might not still be there when... No, that's not going to be there when Lady Taralese gets back.
Can Coromand actually recognize them leaving with anything? Like, obviously they're turning up the place looking for stuff.
You know what? Why don't we do a roll for that? I'm gonna roll their... I'm gonna give them 3d6 because there's several of them, and that means that they have a bit of help here, but that's like a fire check for sleight of hand, if you will. I just rolled terribly well, don't I? So sorry, everyone. And you can roll, that was louder. You can roll a wind check, then, I suggest. Yeah, which is 2d6.
Okay. Here goes.
You need 2 6s now. Unfortunately not. You have 1 6, but since they had 2 successes and are the aggressors, they will manage to abscond with that ledger.
So yeah, Coromand's just basically waiting outside the room, and he sees some of them leave, and just thinks of, that they must be going to get more bedding or something, and maybe they sneak off with the ledger.
For the audience here, I want to just give a little quick behind the scenes unveiling. This is how the Game of Shadows interacts with the RP. When you have high enough influence in a place, you can do shenanigans there, and that's what just happened. There will be more of that in this game, I'm sure. So yes, they abscond with the ledgers, and Coromand can, I guess, keep up his skulking, but they've seen him, alas alack.
Coromand at that point probably would try and meet back up here with Lady Taralese to let her know of the accosting that has been in her room here at the establishment.
That seems reasonable indeed. Which I guess just confirms Taralese's suspicions of the tense situation in Arhem at the moment.
Yes, I'm not surprised at all. What about Lady Nin's things? Did you go and look for any of that?
He looks absolutely nervous at this point.
I think you've
My
been
lady,
hanging out.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
You've been hanging out with those pirates too much.
Yeah, and at that point, Corban will absolutely scuttle off and try to make amends.
Indeed.
Actually, before you go retrieve Jaga again. See if maybe she can help you.
That might work.
Excellent. So yes, Corman's off to find Jaga.
Yeah. Yaga will be played by the other Jessica when she gets back. I'm guessing Malik will be getting intelligence on all of this as it unfolds.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, am I aware that Nin is back in town? Or has
You
it
would
been
be by
successful?
now, I think. Yes.
Oh.
But probably not where Nin is at this particular time. Like, she was introduced to the people, and then she probably disappeared. She's not at the garrison, you know that much.
Okay.
Also not anywhere near the infirmary, you know that much.
I mean, one of those things is more surprising than the other. Yeah, so I'd probably send along an invitation to dinner to her office in the garrison, which does not get seen for some time, I imagine.
Indeed. Yes.
If at all. But I'm curious about what I would make of the ledger when it's eventually delivered to me.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough. All right. I mean, the letter. It's remind me again. Brain fart.
The ledger had just been. It was cooked to
Yes.
look like how Shakello had been doing some underhanded dealings.
Oh yes, the ledger.
Skimming
yes.
and whatnot.
Yes. That should be delivered. I'm gonna say it's gonna be delivered in the early evening, say 5-ish.
That's fair.
Yes. And I mean, we could skip to that right away if you like, because Coromund is busy doing his thing in the garrison. Unless you want to detail that some more, Josh.
Nope, I think we're good.
Is Erald up to anything in particular during that time?
No, Erald isn't in town at the moment.
Oh, fair enough. Okay,
Yep.
right.
Neither Erald nor Praanz are in town, and we will delve into their whereabouts once the other Jessica arrives.
Fair.
So yeah, you will have Malik will have a ledger that is. I mean, I don't know that Malik can Malik spot a good. Yes, you have learning and stuff like that. So. You can just do a wind roll to read the ledger. You don't have to add fate dice to this if you don't want to study the ledger. Let's see what Malik gains from it.
Alrighty. Forgive me, it's been a long time since I've done this.
It's 3d6 because Malik is a smart person.
Where do I enter that? Oh, hang on.
In the chat log, you have the dice basket just at the bottom there, if you will. The little geometrical figures at the bottom there are the dice.
Is the plus or minus the dice, or is that the?
No,
is that
those
a modifier?
those are modifiers. Yeah.
I'm sorry, everyone.
No,
So
that's
I
fine.
hit D6. Oh, there we go. I just figured it out.
Ooh, this is 3 successes. It is also a success at cost because you need a 6 to not have cost, if you will. So you will glean a whole lot of information from this because 3 successes. But what is the cost for Malik?
Maybe a headache from reading so much cramped handwriting.
Yeah. Though I will say this. With your level of special nefariousness, because Shagulites are a bit special. So normally this would be a headache, but Shagulites are masters of biology after all.
Yes. I didn't intend for that to be a self-serving suggestion. Maybe my eyes are tired, or I'm let me see. Maybe it just takes me a long time.
Maybe it just takes you a long time. Yes, that is more likely because you are not
because I don't
at
know
all
the
affected
context.
by those kinds of things.
Yeah, because I don't know the context in which this document was prepared. So
Indeed.
It might take me a while to figure out all of the things I figure out.
Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's gonna take you a while, so you will sit there and read for a few hours, and which happens to be a great segue to other things.
I'm going to have even more to talk with my good friend, Oddbill.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so you're working there. Boom. Yeah, that works. I'm gonna have to look at... I have to keep track of all the influence levels now. Because people have influence in various places. Klenora's influence there as well. And in the fisheries is not gonna help that much. Garrison does help. Every once in a while. I guess Lady Taralese will have to risk going up to the garrison just to be able to make use of some of those resources and the influence that Klenora has up there. But that is not happening right at this moment. I'm going to speed us ahead to evening. It's going to be fairly late now, say 8 or so. You've been working all day on producing these documents. Lady Taralese together with Sin. Since you're working together, that helps a great deal. She will be able to help you with crafting these documents. So I'm going to bring up her. Let's see now. She is not as smart as Lady Taralese, I'm going to have to say. But she has a very fair hand. Fire 3, I guess? Would that count as a fire thing? Is the table in acceptance of her using fire instead of wind to help craft these documents?
Why not?
Why not? She is also a machinator, like so many others around here. So I'm gonna spend a fate die for her from my chalice. Which means that I now have only 7 dice left for the entire session until I start giving you challenges, which I might have to do before this session is over. Who knows? And so I'm going to roll her 4d6 to help you, Sin. And
Okay.
if I get a success, you get an extra die. If I get each 6 gives you another die on top of that.
All right.
Ta-da!
Safe has arrived.
Yes. So that is a success. You gain 2 extra dice to design these documents. And what I'm going to do with that is basically it's going to give you a bonus on water rolls in the future, maybe even machinator rolls in the future, to plead your case to the powers that be in Tresilva. So the more successes you get with designing these clay tablets, the better it will be for you and your schemes after you leave Arhem. How about that?
All right. So wind with the additional 2 dice, and then also machinator, or just wind with the additional 2 dice.
You can add machinator if you want to spend a fate die on this. Absolutely. So you start with 5 dice, and you can add a 6th.
Yeah, I feel like better to invest for the future right now.
Nice.
I do absolutely deserve to get nailed on this.
So that is a lot of successes, including a 6. So you have a +2. When you bring these clay tablets, I'm gonna add them to your inventory. clay tablets of Nin's testimony. When you bring them to the court in Tresilva, that will give you +2 dice on your water roll and machinator roll to convince people of the truth of your experiences and so on and so forth. And because you are doing this, I'm going to say probably in the line of your strengthening your career, as it were, I'm going to give you the fate die right back. Because I think it corresponds fairly well to your destiny, doesn't it? Like, this is something that you're doing for that particular purpose, right?
Hey, I'm perfectly okay with that.
So, there
And
we
hey,
go.
we can have the Battle of the Jessicas now.
Yes, we can have the
Yes.
Battle of the Jessicas now.
I even spent the last shadow round targeting her.
I know, and it works out perfectly for what I had planned for this session.
Ooh.
I mean,
Oh, dear.
in my defense, that wasn't my original plan. It's just how things worked out.
Indeed.
It's okay, I have no problem painting a giant target on myself.
Yes. There we go.
From,
yes.
Honestly,
Hey, Jessica, how are you?
Hey! From what I understand, that's kind of what Praanz does canonically. From what I've been told.
Yeah, yes, I mean, he kicks down doors, and sometimes he becomes a target. This is not wrong.
Kicks down doors and sometimes steps in it.
Yes, I mean, when you kick down doors enough times, sooner or later, there's gonna be something nasty behind one of them, so...
Yeah. That's fine. As much as I love playing, it's an NPC, I'm not overly attached.
Blasphemy! This canonical character deserves glory and fortune and interesting
They'll-
stories.
If they go down, they'll go down in a blaze of something.
In a blaze of something, indeed. I was gonna do an interesting thing in Arhem now, but I'm kind of tempted to jump right into our little expedition on the mountain, and you're walking all the way back from it. On the temple, on the ice, I should say, you are there, making your way back, Erald and Praanz, together with your little group of a few wolfkin and a couple of soldiers. I have given, you'll find in the minion folder there, Sin, you will find a typical Trakorian soldier for you to control in case that will be needed. You never know. And I do want someone there to do a wind check, because you have pretty good weather today. And you never know what that might lead to in this world. I noticed that, of course, again, we don't have the foremost investigators, shall we say. I will
Preferably
have,
not me.
yeah, I will actually have Sin roll for this one. Because I think Balin is also down at it one, isn't he?
Random
Yep.
soldier,
Both
go!
of us are ones. It's great.
Yeah.
I never said I was
all three
smart,
of you-
okay?
All three of you are one.
Why
So-
is the red shirt the brains of the outfit?
Because he's smart enough to know what to do what Praanz tells him to.
Welcome to
Wait.
Trakorian politics.
And the old one just likes to hit things.
Clearly, this is a case of Praanz and Erald talking about what they found, kind of walking in the middle of the cluster, while everyone else is doing the scouting necessary. Right? So, one
That's
of the
right.
soldiers is a scout.
I mean,
Roll-
they're totally capable of situational awareness. They just don't want to exercise it right now.
So roll 2d6 for scouting around.
Yeah, definitely feeling more like one of the guards in Ankh-Morpork. Oh, Jiminy Christmas.
Thank you, Sid.
That's
after
awesome!
and complete oblivion. This is wonderful.
As we realize we're walking in circles, Praanz just, starts barking at the soldier. Why weren't you paying attention?
Sorry, sir. Got turned around from the snowstorm.
What you will instead discover to your chagrin, which is one of the Wolfkin will, is that there is a large crack in the ice on this day when you're traveling back. Okay, I'm gonna roll for the Wolfkin, actually, because I think they are out in front, aren't they? Did we put the Wolfkin in front?
Sounds about right.
It sounds about
Probably
right.
have better, better noses.
Exactly. Now, they are huntsmasters, so that helps.
I'm picturing just like a trio of Wolfkin like sliding down the ice after having failed to notice something.
Yeah, I'm gonna again generously spend one of my own fate dice here for one of your NPCs. And that gives me a 3d6 to discover things. Oh, that's not how you roll it all. There we go. Haha! Finally! A Wolfkin will, in fact, give a yelp and step back. And there is a crack in the ice on the glacier. You've come down, you've marched down. It took you a couple of hours to come down, so from noonish, maybe 1 p.m. or so, you've been marching since, what it will be, like 2 or so on the actual glacier. And on a full afternoon's march, this actually happens, that you do have an ice crack in the way there. But it's not so big that it's going to impede you otherwise. It just reminds you of the treachery of the glacier. If I had failed that particular roll for this Wolfkin, that Wolfkin would have fallen into the crack, and that would have been bad. Because it's a thin layer of snow, and suddenly you can just down like that. But luckily this time for you guys, that Wolfkin is still among the breathing, among the living. And then you, I guess, make camp on the ice in the night. And I don't know how long you want to march. If you want to go beyond a normal marching time, you could do a forced march, but I would ask you...
staying on the ice.
I would compel you to roll a stone check for that, because that would be forced march, and at that point you might want to, start taking damage and stuff like that, so... If you wanna...
Stone is fine.
Stone is fine.
Stone is fine. You want to roll for Balin as well? Stone is apparently just about fine for Praanz. That's a success at cost. That is not a success at all, Evander. And, not Evander.
I was going to say.
Erald, yes. I don't know why it's calling you Evander. That's from a long time ago.
Yep, that one actually was for Balin, and now I'm doing Erald's now.
There we go.
My mind keeps trying to render the name of that character as Ballin. He kind of is, to be frank.
Not going well for you either. Okay. This means that you will not be able to do the forced march, because we have people here who just can't quite take it.
Do I have to drag you, old man?
Yep, apparently. Praanz, you will also be a bit tired from this. It's been a long day, let's just say. So I'll
Praanz
give
is
you...
a little extra bitchy than normal.
Yes, I'll give you an extra exhaustion. Everybody gets some exhaustion. You will have to break for the night and make a camp.
I just didn't want to sleep on the ice.
yeah, but that was inevitable. One night on the ice is inevitable. It takes that long to get back. I'm just sending an evil GM's note here to our friend Malik. Speaking of the camp, how are you organizing the camp? I'm guessing someone is keeping watch, because right now there is total or insufficient paranoia.
Yeah, I'm telling Balin to keep watch over Erald.
I will have one of the Wolfkin take watch, and then I'll have another one trade off.
Okay. Balin can't stay up all night. Oh, I mean, he can, but he's going to be exhausted by morning.
Yeah, that's what Firestones are for, right?
This is true. Okay, Balin stays up all night guarding his his Tenzin master. I'm fine with that. Which means that we have at least 2 guards on duty at all times.
Yep.
Very well. GM notes are being passed back and forth. You have no reason to.
Be not alarmed.
You can see here, move along.
I should just put my hands in the typing attitude continuously.
Yeah. Just a confirmation, yes, no, maybe so. Okay. We will go to a different scene. Good thing I have prepared this before, isn't it? More or less, anyway. You actually probably don't have that many tents, but I don't care. At this particular moment, we had, what was it, 4 wolfkins, something like that?
3 wolfkin, 2
wolfkin.
red shirts.
Yes, 2 red
And us.
shirts. And you.
And a Balin.
And a Balin.
Oh, yeah, sorry, and a Balin. Yeah.
And then we'll have Erald, Balin. Or is what tent would Praanz be in?
Praanz would probably have her own.
Okay. There we go. And I'm gonna put out Praanz as well. There we go. So yes, it's in the middle of the night. And this is really the wrong sound, isn't it? We need something colder here. There we go. And I'm gonna roll a wind check for the Balin is out keeping watch, right? I'm gonna roll. Who has the best wind? That would be the
Wolfkin.
The Wolfkin. So I'm gonna roll
Sure, go!
Wolfkin's wind check. Success, apparently. Balin, since you are asleep now, Erald. Balin, the Wolfkin looks up suddenly. Huh? Pulling out the bow and arrow. And I'm gonna say let's go. No, it doesn't get let go, because it's not a 6, right? It's a success at cost. So just enough time for Balin to be able to look up. Well, what will Balin do?
Yeah, he begins to look up and goes hand to sword.
Hand to sword.
Yeah.
And what he sees from the night sky is something absolutely enormous coming down towards him. It's the size of a horse at the very least. It has a huge head with the eyes seem to be glittering with starlight and the light from the campfire. Crab legs are just coming right towards him. Whoosh!
I'm sure it's fine.
What was that?
I said I'm sure it's fine.
Yes, clearly.
Thus begins the game of Cthulhu.
Yes! Why don't we have him... I'm gonna actually...
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't we have Malik roll 3d6 for a tarot check on Balin? Okay, Balin now has to roll his wind with 1 success to not take a point of fear.
Oh, this is gonna be great. Yes.
When
He needed a 6 though, because he needed a 6 because the thing is the aggressor,
Had a
so he
5,
does
yeah.
take a point of fear. He's not broken yet because he has 1 more point before he's broken, so that's good. But he's standing there. He sees this huge thing coming at him, and I will want Malik to roll the attack check here for the thing, which is going to be. This is the claws, so that's 4 dice plus 2 dice, so 5, because Balan is exhausted and Balan is scared. That gives the thing.
Sorry, 4
extra.
plus 2, you said?
Yes, indeed, 6 dice. Balan does get to roll his fire
Balan's
to
dead.
dodge this. Maybe. Balan does get to roll his fire to dodge this.
Oof.
Ooh dear, that is 3 successes, 2 6s. That's a lot.
So that's Balan's fire, you said?
Yes, indeed.
Like I said, Balan's dead.
So this is a good question because I think it's the first time I ran into play. My fire naturally is 3, but I've got a dot of exhaustion. Do I just subtract that, or has it already been added when the monster attacked?
The latter. So you always have your
Okay.
base, but when you're hurt, your opponent get extra dice.
Cool.
So you always roll your 3.
Well, I've got a 1 in 18 chance of getting 3 6s.
Yep. You did not. Balance has the time to scream before it goes poof, right on top of him. And I'm gonna roll an attack roll for the Wolfkin, who's just gonna let loose that arrow whilst that thing is there. Oh, of course I'm gonna roll the Wolfkin's wind check too, because maybe the Wolfkin gets scared. I only have the 2d6 for the Wolfkin. The Wolfkin takes also a point of fear, which is not enough to break it. I'll roll 3d6 to shoot that thing. I can add another fate die. I'm so generous here with my fate dice, to be honest. All of them have gone to your NPC so far. That's 4d6 to shoot the thing. That's a very good shot. Nobody's gonna say anything, but these guys are good marksmen. In fact, that does 2 points of damage, which goes through the hide.
Ouch.
It sits deeply in the hide of that creature. But it doesn't kill it. And at the new turn, of course, the Wolfkin howls. But I do believe that the thing will just fly away now. Yep, fire 3. And Balan is stuck. So, yes, it flies away with Balan in its clutches, these crab legs, even as the Wolfkin howls, waking Erald and Praanz.
Can we get out of our tents before it's gone?
No, you're sleeping until... I mean, you can roll a wind check to wake up when you hear the thud outside before the howl starts.
Probably not, but we can try.
Oh, look at that! Someone does! Really?
Apparently Praanz and Erald wake the fuck up.
Yes, you do. You wake up and when you hear the crunch, and maybe Erald wakes up because he recognizes the from Balam. Sin,
I feel like
Totally
Praanz
not
is the
straight.
type of person
No,
who only
wasn't straight.
sleeps with one eye open.
You know,
yeah,
making
exactly.
a manly noise of displeasure.
Exactly. Sin, did you want to roll 2d6 for the Trakorian soldier to wake up?
Err.
I guess, but it takes an extra turn because it's not a 6. How about that? So, yeah, you will come out of your tent, basically running out of your tent the moment, sleeping with one eye open. Both of you are paranoid enough to get out.
Honestly, fair.
Yes.
Praanz is sleeping with her sword.
Yeah, and you get out, and there's just the wolfkin staring and reloading the bow and looking up, and you can look up and see this huge black shape against the night sky flying up. That's...
How far in the air is it?
By now, that's a good question. It has the capacity to fly, and
basically my aim is to try and cut a tendon or something just enough to make it let go of Balin.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to attack it with your swords, but it might be in bow range. It's gonna be in bow range, still.
Okay.
Let's see now.
I don't think Praanz has a bow.
You don't? No.
No, I'm more of a swordswoman.
Indeed.
I could probably maybe aid the wolfkin, though. Give it an extra die to, hit the right spot.
Yeah. I can't quickly find the... But I'm gonna say
Trying to
it's
save
in
your
bow range.
NPC.
I'm gonna say it's in bow range.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna use another fate die for this guy, though. I need some for myself. So
Can
that's,
I give him an extra die for... because basically military ability would know generally, that's a kill shot.
A command roll?
Yeah.
Okay, yes,
Sure,
why don't we do
command.
that?
What am I using for command?
That would be water, so 2 for that.
Water?
If you want to
Okay.
roll an extra fate die for your command ability, we can do that.
There we go.
Indeed. You
I
add
command the wolfkin.
Yes, and I will add another die to the wolfkin's roll. So that would be, in fact, it has a die for the bow. Did I roll the die for the bow last time?
I don't think so.
3, 4. 4 dice. It's a 5. It's marked for Praanz now because I was marking your token last. I will roll... Or you will roll, Malik. Why don't you roll the thing's dodge? Because it can veer off, of course, in the air, which is 3 dice.
3 dice. Alright, on it. I know how to roll things now.
Yes.
It's okay,
Oh,
it
no.
takes a minute with this system. Praanz's command helped.
It does not succeed at all in dodging that. But this is 1 point of damage because we didn't roll a 6 for the wolfkin, which means that it actually bounces off the carapace-like hide of this strange creature. You can almost hear the ding of the arrow.
Okay, I was trying to get it to aim for its claws. I wanted it to drop Belen.
That would be a very hard shot.
Okay, never mind.
I don't have enough successes for that, and I would need 6s for it. It's basically gripping. You can see just about enough in the dark thanks to the campfire, like crab-like legs that are gripping Balan against its body, so he's completely enveloped. It's in a vice.
I look at the wolfkin. Do you have the smell of that thing?
Yeah, it's...
I want to find it later.
All of you can feel the smell of that thing. It's like an overwhelming aroma of ammonia.
I want the wolfkin to be able to track it.
I do also want you guys to roll your own fear checks, because you still see it clearly enough.
Okay, and that is...
A wind check.
Ugh. Is there anything I can add to Praanz?
Not yet. When Praanz has developed some bouncy con training, you can add things to that. So, on level up, I recommend bouncy con for Praanz.
Okay.
But, if you succeed well with this one, I will give you Destiny Fate dice, because to remain unflinchingly upright and unbending like an oak facing a storm is very much Praanz, right? So,
I got a 5.
Indeed. And now there is, in fact, fate dice in the chalice, because I've used... How many have I used again? A bunch? Where did my shall this go?
I think there's at least 3.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Oh, there it is. I have used 4, in fact, so there's now 3 left. Okay, Praanz gains a fate die for not being broken by fear. How about that? Stalwart.
I thought I was the aggressor in this situation.
Oh yes, you are. So Praanz, okay, Praanz gets a fear point, but is not broken, and because remain unflinchingly upright and unbending, since she will continue and press on and do her things undeterred, even though she has fear in her heart, she gains a fate die. That is Praanz. Yes, so it flies away up into the darkness of the night. Now what?
Reese, do you know what the fuck that thing was?
I was just gonna say, so Erald probably would have at least 1 round worth of action here as he pops out.
Yes, please. Do a thing.
Yeah, he's going to pay as much of attention as he can to see his compadre here run off, as obviously he's got no bow, he's got no method to deal with this thievery that's currently occurring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's going to try and see if he can make sense of really what this thing is, and probably do some recollection to see if he can if he can remember properly. Josh remembers, but maybe Harold doesn't. Last time that he met a certain someone, what they smelled like.
Ah, yes. Unfortunately,
Terrible
this is a
perfume.
win check, so it might not work out very well, but we'll see.
Okay. So there's my wonderful win check.
Oh, look at that! Or you roll like that, and it works out wonderfully. A 6 for you. It did not smell like your friend with a bone mask.
That is a smell Erald will never forget.
That is a smell
Yep.
Erald will never forget.
It's very florally from
this
what he
is
remembers.
very different. Now, that was more like gangrene, maybe.
Full monstrosity of skinny attachment. Excellent.
Yeah. And this was definitely not that. It was something else. But with a 6, I mean, I can send you a message about your best guess. You have read some in, Inquisitor Academy, after all.
Read some lore to know what to kill.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I figured.
There's
As we're... Oh, go ahead.
there's now that you're kind of collecting yourself, the images of this thing, it was like part fly, the head with the facetous eyes, part crab, those legs that grabbed onto Balan, part chicken, really. The feet were like bird feet just sitting down in the snow, and the wings very much like a gigantic bat with a tail, a long tail flowing after it.
Absolute, utterly disgusting thing of nightmares. Excellent.
Yep, and as suddenly as it came, it is gone.
Obviously, it's nighttime and it's pitch black, but
Yep.
can I tell roughly if it's going back the way we came, back to Arhem, or elsewhere? From
Where is it going?
wind?
Malik, where is it going?
Honestly, it's probably going to get far enough away that experience has taught Malik it can't be seen, and remain there because its purpose was to track these folks.
Very well.
And enjoy its meal because it's hungry after all of this.
It is indeed.
Alas, poor Balan.
Alas, poor Balan. Yes, this noble fire tongue from the Charl clans. Alas, for him. that is where we will leave the good company on the ice for the moment and go back to Arhem, because things are happening there too in the middle of the night. What is Lady Taralese going to do as you wrap up? You are still in the Unicorn, it's going to be 8 p.m., something like that. And you are wrapping up your work with the clay tablets that are coming along quite nicely.
Yeah, she's definitely going to order dinner, fully expecting it to be of questionable origins, though still better than the fish.
It could be lobster. They have a lot of that around here.
Such peasant food.
Hard to get good langoks around here, though, I have to say. They have to be imported all the way across the ocean, so only the nobles have access to langoks. Langoks, for the audience, is this setting's equivalent to potatoes. Like a cross between potatoes and cauliflower, in the sense that the plant kind of looks like the cauliflower, but it works like a potato in the kitchen. You mash it, you fry it, you boil it, you do all things with it. Distinctly Paratronian staple food. They eat that stuff to everything. But out here, it doesn't grow. It is used to more warmer climates. So poor Lady Taralese will probably have to... Well, maybe she can in fact order in some. She has some wealth. After all. She'd
probably spend the money for that. Especially since Nin's been working so hard. She deserves a treat.
Indeed. Yes, she does. She agrees fully with this assessment. You will be able to feast a little bit on some nice food. Purchases in this system, by the way, for those who might be interested in such things, are done by rolling your wealth level against a difficulty equal to whatever you want to buy. In this case, this would be quite the feast, so you would need 2 successes for this because of how expensive langoks are, and that's like a meal for several silver decori, not just some copper mackerel. I mean, you could do that or you can not do that as you see fit. You have 3 dice in your wealth. Maybe there is some extra luxuries being flaunted at the Unicorn right now because of a recent heist. So it could be slightly easier to gain access to such luxuries than normal. So you eat well. And the taste of home for the first time in, what, almost 2 months? A month and a half?
Oh, thank the gods. Something decent to eat for once.
Indeed. What do you want to do after supper? Are you going to sleep in the garrison after Korriman told you about that little raid?
Oh, heck no. Oh, heck no.
No? Aw.
Hashtag no.
Hey, she knows better than to leave her drink or accept drinks from strangers.
So we stay at the Unicorn then, and better safe than sorry, as it were. I'm gonna have you roll. This is gonna be... When do you go to bed? Just out of curiosity. Like 10, 11, midnight?
Like any good noblewoman, yeah, it's gonna be pretty late at night. So probably about midnight-ish.
Then I will say this much. It's gonna be about maybe... it's getting on, it's getting late. Yeah, it's not quite late enough for you to go to bed just yet, but it's getting close there. You and Nin have had a long, nice conversation over the afternoon and evening, and I'm gonna count this as rest. With food and everything, so you will have recuperated your fear point from that windroll we did a while back. When you did your powers. So you feel refreshed, and kind of ready to go to bed when you hear a scream coming from outside. It's coming from Lowtown.
Any idea what that might be about, Nin?
I have no idea. Could be anything. I mean, at this point, probably
Just the normal
something.
Lowtown screaming. Don't worry about it.
Probably the Shagulites are up to something.
They're always up to
It's
something.
always the Shagulites.
It's always the Shagulites.
Probably. Hopefully Coromand was able to retrieve Yaga.
I guess you were, Coromand. Jessica,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you Yaga the seamstress.
Okay. What does Yaga do? Where am I?
Garrison or Lowtown, depending on what you want.
Am I the one screaming?
You are not.
If she is the one screaming, Malik is going to have a lot to answer for, because getting good tailors out here is so hard.
Or
I
I
was
will.
willing to put up with all of the murder and general mayhem, but making my seamstress scream.
That lines
Not too
have to
far.
be drawn.
Yeah.
You're messing with my fashion. Don't mess with
I-
the noble lady and her dresses.
I'm probably in Lowtown because I'm probably on my way back to my lady.
Very good. I'll put you in Lowtown, and then yes, it was you screaming, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay. Awesome.
You've been walking around a lot in Lowtown, talking to various contacts. Like these past couple of days, you've been trying to help your mistress, the Duchess Klenora in Trakoria, make connections, collect rumors. You're gonna feed all this stuff to the Lady Taralese. You know your job. And as a person of the people, you know what commoners to talk to. A seamstress needs to buy groceries, needs to buy supplies, needs to do all that stuff in the market. All that kind of thing. You blend in, disappear.
Common gossip.
Indeed so. And that's what you've been doing over the past couple of days. Since you have learned how to orient around Lowtown, you've gone to every corner of it. And for some reason this night, you're taking a shortcut across the cemetery.
Awesome. Let's do this.
And as you're walking across the cemetery, first you hear a sound. And you're like, what was that? It sounded like a scratch or a bump or something. And I mean, there is paranoia, total and insufficient. There's intrigues in town. It could be hoodlums. You've heard of the Inquisitor who was attacked. Things like that. Better be careful. Maybe hurry up your steps a bit. What do you do?
She will clutch her bundle and start to walk faster. Have to remember I'm playing a seamstress and not Praanz.
Yeah.
She will pull out her fabric shears, which I'm guessing is a tailor she will always have on her,
mhm.
and just kind of hold them outward like you would hold keys between your fingers kind of thing,
Yeah.
as like a defensive kind of thing, and
those
then
things can
try
cut
to
in a pinch.
try to get through the cemetery and back to her mistress as quickly as possible.
Why don't we have some fun here and make her roll? Because I put her in minions, so you can access her sheet. Make her roll a wind check. I believe she has just 2 straight across. So, Jaga will notice it like 1 minute too late.
Yes, I will.
I'm gonna put that on there. There we go.
I'm really sorry, Sin, if I get your seamstress killed.
1
not
minute
the
too
problem.
late. There's something moving right next to her foot. she can't make out in the dark quite what that is. And then it grabs her foot, and she just falls down. Was that a tree root?
She will scream and take the scissors and stab at whatever it is.
She stabs whatever this is as hard as she can. Roll...
Tree root or not.
Yeah, fire plus 1, 3d6, because you have those
You owe me a new pair of fabric scissors, the Shagulites!
I won't make you pay them. Fabric scissors are expensive.
Exactly. I have in my history done bad things to fabric scissors, and my wife didn't like that at all.
I don't imagine she did.
I didn't recognize. I'm so sorry to this day. Anyway, yeah, you stab into the thing, and then you see what it is. I mean, you hit it. It's right there. It's right in. It's a skeletal hand emerging from the dirt. And, like, right now, your fabric scissors are kind of caught between the two bones of the forearm, and the hand is moving. Let's do a fear check, shall we? This is a classic.
How many die am I rolling?
Yes. You have... I've given you 2 strong across the board for the seamstress, so she'll have 2.
Okay.
Just like everything. Oh, look
She
at
is
that.
not afraid.
She is not afraid.
She's been in the ladies' service long enough. Shit doesn't surprise her anymore.
I guess.
So I will take the scissors and I will wrench them,
Yeah.
trying to break the hand off.
Mm-hmm. Okay, roll another 3d6 for that. We'll see what happens.
Oh, come on. Nothing scares me after having seen that fabric sample sale.
Exactly.
The
That
last time they brought silk in?
that doesn't... Well, it's success at cost. I'm gonna say that you managed to wrest it off.
But I break my scissors.
I'm gonna say you take half the hand off, so it's kind of
Okay.
dangling on one tendon that is still attached, and the hand is still kind of doing this, even as it's dangling there.
Okay, have I managed to get it off my leg?
Yeah, you do that.
Okay. I pick up my shit and run.
To her horror, she will see that every single grave is moving.
Okay, I will run very fast. And I am just beelining for the unicorn.
I bet. It won't take you too long to get there, of course. Like, we're talking 10 minutes of running and, some revelers by the tavern. There's always someone at Young Hilders these days. You don't even notice them. They don't even notice you. They're drunk sailors, they're drunk Trakorian soldiers. 1 or 2 locals, certainly maybe some from a competing establishment from the Unicorn trying to pick up some trade from these merchants and soldiers and sailors as you whoosh by and bash the door in to the Unicorn. I'm going to set Corriman at the Unicorn as well, having accomplished his... I'm saying that he's probably just accomplished his errand and come in when... And is going to say... So Lady Taralese is standing there and he's just going to start saying whatever it is he's going to... When... Boom!
Zombies!
The door...
The zombies!
Calm down, calm down. The drunk look like that sometimes. You know that.
No, the graveyard. And she, shows them the claw marks on her legs. And her broken fabric scissors.
Oh, that's going to cost so much to replace. But at least we're still okay. But you said zombies and skeletons?
The entire graveyard has risen.
What? Says Nin.
Well, fuck.
Did you get into the wine?
Oh, here. You're lucky I didn't break the bottle when it tripped me.
No, I mean...
Because the debt of risen is no excuse for lack of professionalism.
A very good seamstress.
Yes, we'll have to see if maybe we can make slits be popular this summer season. I mean, that hair in your skirts there, it's actually quite fashionable.
Priorities!
You could do a decorative hem. It would work out wonderful.
Oh, I love it. But anyway,
You see Corman, like, open the wine bottle. It's straight. Realizing the discussion that's currently going on.
So, Nin, do you recall seeing... Well, we both kind of saw the undead a little bit there. So, I guess he's beginning to get much more bold.
Stupid.
There is that. Although, given what Cormand was saying, it seems like it's even worse at the garrison than I thought, but I seem to have been getting a little bit more weight to throw around at the garrison. Where's Praanz when you need her? Well, I suppose... Not soon enough, unfortunately. Although, interesting. I haven't sensed anything today.
Only just happened. They were rising as I was walking through.
Yes. So, I think what we're going to need to do, and she's going to start snapping over at some of Malachi's crew and say, Go run to the garrison, warn them that undead are rising in the graveyard.
Alright. Nin has her sword. She is not gonna let that out of her sight for a second. She's pretty good at it too. Do we go to the graveyard? She says. It's very close to the infirmary for obvious reasons. That's a game cue that it's in the sphere of influence of Graphicanus. So, influence 3, just,
Oh, certainly not.
Maybe wait out the devastation here?
Yeah, that's precisely.
I mean, where the booze are?
More importantly, in a defensible position where, if worse comes to worse, we can either, what is the term, batten down the hatches, or flee elsewhere if necessary, since it is a little bit more out of town.
I do understand alcohol makes good explosives.
There is that, too. There's also, I'm completely blanking on what the accelerant is that we've found around here.
Sulfur?
Sulfur.
Not
Yes.
the sulfur, the gasoline, but not
Oh, Silvolium. Yes.
Silvolium.
Yes. Yeah, Silvolium works really well for burning, and it's harder to get here because there's no local production center for it. It's really produced mostly on Paratorna. That's the main production center, which means that all of it has to be imported here, which means that mostly just nobles or the garrison will have access to that kind of stuff. Locals, like when you're in Paratorna, you use it for lamp oil, but it's too expensive to do that here. Here people will use lanterns or torches instead, typically.
But I'm
Perhaps-
guessing if the graveyard is right next to the infirmary, I probably also hear about this pretty quickly.
Oh yes, indeed you do! Absolutely. What will Malik do?
I mean, it's the timing is somewhat up to you as to when I finish with my other business.
Yes, speaking of which, I need to have a look at that. Let's have a look at that really quickly then. I had put some notes down here. There we go. I mean, a lot of this business will be dealt with by now.
Alrighty. I mean, being as how he is a necromancer, is there anything he can try to do with respect to that situation? Or am I just good at raising them, not so much good at dealing with them?
No, you're good at dealing with them too, in a manner of speaking. Like
Something.
Yeah, I mean, almost any sphere of magic can be used for magical attacks. So, if that's your goal, you can also control undead, typically. Things like that. So there's a whole bunch of things.
Probably trying to figure out like what shit is happening right now. Like, I don't imagine he's used to somebody else using necromancy in his backyard. Literally.
Indeed. Let's see now. I'm gonna just have
Those are my corpses. I called them fair and square.
Exactly. I made most of them. Come on now. I mean,
Probably also sees the lady seamstress being attacked and just goes, shit.
Did I do that?
Why don't we have...
If not, you're going to be blamed for it.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't we have Malik, I'm thinking... Because we have necromancy, that's a thing in the world. Where's that? Where did I put it? Oh, there. I mean, if you just want to have a reading of what's going on magically, you can do that. Like a detect magic kind of spell, if you like.
yeah.
Then we use one fate die and Malik's wind, of course.
Which is 3, if I'm remembering correctly?
That is absolutely correct, yes. So, and you add a fate die, so you roll, you add one more die in the roll, if you will.
Well,
that was terrible.
Experience on that.
Yes.
I am an experienced necromancer. Let me just scroll. I should have written this down someplace that isn't at the beginning of my channel.
I have... You had a favorite rat?
Yeah. Hey, I'm relatable, alright?
Exactly. You have a... I guess the favorite rat thing would work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'll re-roll all of those failures.
Yes! Absolutely.
Correct number of dice off the top this time. That's better.
There we go. The last die is, of course, the fate die, and that was a 1, but Malik is already known for being a horrible sorcerer, so it doesn't really matter.
I don't imagine I'm going to be blamed more for this than I'm already going to be, so... Well, that's disconcerting. Given that, do I think I can do anything about it?
There we go. The answer to that is no.
Oh, good. All right. New plan.
So what I'm hearing is we're making the right call. Hiding away and making it someone else's problem.
That's a choice, all right. Yeah, all right, so the other quarry of interest is That's unfortunate. All right. Well, the other quarry of interest is on its way. I think I've done as much as I can there.
Yes.
No. Okay. Good. Yeah. So I guess guess Malik is going to collect as many of his important belongings as he can in something waterproof, and then go for a nice midnight swim.
Ah. But, you know, it's refreshing. Haven't you ever been to Iceland and gone to the hot springs? I have. It's lovely.
Because, I mean,
Oh,
you
maybe
know,
that's
magic
not what
can't
magic is
pass
having in
over water, and that's about my best hope at the moment.
Exactly.
I'm somewhat disappointed nobody was around to see the town's resident necromancer go, "Oh shit," and then book it.
Oh, I'm sure there's poor citizens that are suddenly becoming man witches that saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Meanwhile, you are all holed up there in the unicorn. And, I mean, you were opening your mouth there, Coromon, to tell Taralese about your successes, and I've sent you a bit of a rumor there, too, just so you can, as an information piece.
yeah. So basically, yeah. Coromon gets in and says, "Did you hear the latest? Watville Scoffer was attacked today."
Was he now? That's very interesting. Any idea who? Or what attacked him? Oh, come on. Surely the Skullbar remains part of they started making bets about what it was that attacked him. Or who. I mean, Praanz isn't in town for them to blame her, so...
Dig it longer.
As I said, Praanz is... Really? That's the bet they're going for? She's not even here.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor from the garrison.
Ugh, I swear, they need to get better at this. Well, that's unfortunate for her. Well, I suppose it's also unfortunate for you too, Nin. At least if anyone has found out about you.
So Malik is, going for a swim with a bunch of stuff wrapped up in a cloth sack, I guess, or over the shoulder.
Yeah, I imagine I sort of look like I'm on my way to Hellish Elementary School or something with a rucksack on my back. Because I'm gonna need my arms free for the swimming part of this equation.
True stuff. Yes, true, absolutely. Yes. back on top of it. That is beautiful. And then
It's something, all right.
away to the river or the firth, as you see fit. In the you just being holed up in there, and I guess Yaga's going. It went to the garrison, we said, but she will be back in a moment because she's attending other things right now.
Yeah, sorry. Taralese is not nearly as interesting as Praanz when it comes to things like that. She knows what she is capable of.
Mm-hmm. She belongs in a court, not courtroom.
Not gonna take on the undead yourself. No.
The grand feasts. I'm a little bit curious about how she's gonna level up later on, because so many interesting things we can do with her, or you can do with her. So yeah, that's gonna be cool to see. But you have, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, speaking about that, you have fulfilled the shadow command, right? You have those. That's what the clay tablets are all about, and did you? I think you didn't check off the last experience. That's all. So,
yeah, I have not yet.
That's the one thing you have left to do, and when you've done that, you can level up. Yay! So that's about it. Okay. How is ETA for the other Jessica? Do we know, Josh?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay.
Sorry.
Fair enough. No, that just keeping track of. Speaking of which, we had the new temporary goals. I don't know if I've updated those properly. I mean, Erald's temporary goal is obvious. Where did
Might have a new one after this session.
And yes, I bet. What was Taralese's temporary goal for this again?
Well, she's fulfilled part of it.
Oh yes, the tablets. That was it. So yeah, excellent. Sorry, everything, all the notes I'm looking at the same time. Yaga and Koromand will go up to the garrison, or is just Yaga going up?
Taralese would probably send Koromand with her, just in
Makes
case.
sense.
All right. So up in the garrison, everything is quiet. No one seems to. Well, you've seen some soldiers maybe go down the street, but other than that, then everything is fairly quiet for now. But even as you get up there and look around, there is someone coming up running from Lowtown. A soldier. Dead people! There's like eyes like this. Dead people! They're walking! Screaming at the top of his lungs. And people are, how drunk are you? Stop being silly, and just scoff at it. And no, I'm telling you, there's dead people in Lowtown. And then there's another scream, and more screaming, if you will. The nightly revelers who are returning from Young Hilders are discovering things down there, apparently. And as Malik is walking through Lowtown, yeah, you can in fact see these dead. Indeed, I think, wasn't it in Malik's infirmary where a certain burnt body after allegedly Travinder de Holmes, that probably wasn't Travinder de Holmes, was?
I think I'd taken them to the garrison because I didn't want to go to the infirmary for some reason. I'm trying to remember.
Fair enough. Then there will be a lot of screaming in the garrison because yeah, there will be screaming in the garrison. That's lovely.
I mean, that body is missing a bunch of organs, but you know that's fine.
I don't think the body can.
Not a hindrance to.
No.
Yeah, you will hear screaming from inside the garrison when none other than the torturer comes running up from the torture chambers below the garrison, eyes absolutely wide, going, "They're moving!" and runs up towards the procurator's office. Sin, you have Klenora da Spinalunga under your control, and I'm very happy to inform you that Malik Mungus is right now walking through the fisheries. You do have influence level 2 there, so if you want to, you could have an NPC help or hinder Malik a little bit. Or a lot.
Well, certainly,
Interrogating me might be an idea. Just putting that out there.
yeah, certainly the retired soldier turned fisherman step up with some of his drinking buddies. Where do you think you're going there? Awful late at night to be traveling around like that.
I make a habit of being up late at night.
Not down here in the fisheries, you don't.
That much is true. I'm going for a swim, as it happens.
Awfully cold. Tide's kind of high right now. Not sure you'd want to do that.
I'm fairly certain I would want to do that. Do you know what's going on in Lowtown right now?
Heard some screams going on. Think.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us what's going on?
Very well. I will. This is ancient, very, very, very powerful magic, of which I am not the source.
Blink. Blink.
And more to the point, there is nothing I can do about it. So I would suggest you join me for a swim.
Hang on. Run that by me again. I don't understand the magic stuff as much, but why are you running? And I mean, really, you want to get into that water with how cold it is?
Yes.
Huh.
if you have a means of escaping without getting into the water, I suggest you use it.
So that's it. You Shagulites been posting up around here, acting like you're helping people, and you're gonna run at the first sign of trouble?
Not the first sign, no. And trouble this big, none of us can deal with.
Why is that?
I will repeat myself. This is some very ancient magic that is very, very powerful, of which I am not the source, and about which I can do nothing.
Wait. You sound like one of the preachers at church. You're talking about, like, demons and shit like that?
It's as if the very land itself has risen against all of the living here.
Why don't we have a roll, because we were invoking, like, learning and all that stuff. I'm going to allow you to roll your wind, Malik, against this average fisher who probably has a 2d6, like all average people.
I just love how Malik keeps pointing out, I'm not the source of this. I am not the source of this. This is not my fault.
For once.
I did not have relations with that woman.
Ironically, I'm being completely honest. Not that it's ever going to matter.
No, I'm sorry,
That was a
buddy,
heck
but
of
you
a
are
roll,
so gonna get blamed for this.
Yeah. I knew it, too.
Ooh, 3 successes, and one of them is 6. That works. Yeah, because that's like 2 points of doubt. I think Fisher will let Malik pass. No?
Yes,
I mean-
possibly go report what he has learned to his mistress.
That could be the case. He can run over to the unicorn and tell Klenora everything about it.
Yes. In the meantime, I'm gonna take a long walk off a short pier.
That's exactly what... If anyone would look, and not many people are out by the fishers at this hour, because most fishers who want to be up at this hour are by young Hilders, not by the fisheries, would see... Yeah, why don't you describe it? You just walk off a pier and plumps.
Yeah, basically, a familiar red-robed figure in a bone mask with my knapsack over my shoulders, calmly walking down the pier. I don't know, how athletic is Malik? Is it a nice dive, or is it just kind of like, well, I'm in the water now?
You
Two
belly
each.
flop. That's
Two
the real question.
Very average athletic.
With some haste, so it's probably like an ungainly sort of entry into the water. Certainly not going to be winning any Olympics whatsoever. And then just like,
whoop,
yeah,
jumps in.
going for a swim away from Majura.
You know it's bad when the necromancer would rather drown than deal with this shit.
Right out of there.
Blub, 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 blub. I don't even know if a lot of people will... I mean, yeah, maybe Malik is swimming. Or not.
Yeah. And then I will enact the strategy that we had previously discussed.
Indeed. Yes. There's a splash in the water. But most people right now are centered on the screams from town. Is this going to be a long night for people? Like, Lady Taralese, are you staying at the Unicorn to the night? You will.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you will get the word from that fisher who will come up and basically tell you. Comes through the door. Lady Taralese, yeah, cap in hand. Well, I was paid, to keep an eye out, as it were, and, well, with my own 2 eyes, these ones here, I saw, that Shagulites.
I cannot stress enough, they were my own eyes, it belonged to me.
I saw that Shagulite, walk through the fisheries, and, well, as Shamash and the gods are my witness, that Shagulite just walked off a pier and into the water, and That's the last I saw of the Shagulite. I suspect you might want to know that. So, yeah, now you know. Now I know. Now you know. Holds out a hand to get some copper miracles.
She'll hand it over and just casually grab whatever remains of the wine that Coromund had been drinking and hands it to him. He say why exactly he was deciding to go for a swim at such an hour?
Something about very ancient magic that is the, let's see now. The land is rising up against the living and we should all swim now.
She's definitely taken aback by that for a moment and her brow furrows. The land. Never mind, I know this is going to be above anything you would ever even begin to know. You're dismissed. Thank you.
He also said he didn't do it. Several times. And, yeah, bows a lot of times and goes out the door.
Would you believe the Shagulite as far as we can throw them, correct?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she waits until she's alone with Nin again to turn to look at her and say, unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to believe that it wasn't him this time. Because I didn't sense anything. It's...
Could this have something to do with the druids leaving?
If I were to hazard the guess, I would say yes.
Shall I go get more wine?
That's probably best.
The seamstress will go to the bar and get a couple more bottles.
Yep, there's a lot of bottles being passed around. Up in the garrison, Coromund, you see more and more activity. I don't know how long the butler will hang out there, but probably for a little while. Nobody's paying attention to him at this point. Let's see now, you had, again... Yeah, you have influence there too, Klenora. So there will be information for you from the garrison, absolutely. So the butler is very appropriate to have there. It doesn't happen immediately, but, I mean, you heard the torturers scream, you've seen the patrols go out, and then there is more and more agitation. It's gonna take a goodly half hour, though, before things really start taking off, if you will. And someone is sounding the alarm, because the patrol is coming back, and they are also screaming, "The dead are walking in Lowtown!" And there is another, you will, Lady Taralese, you will have people running past the unicorn from the slave camp. And I think it's in fact Sulidon Rumperlack himself who is running. And he will arrive to the garrison too and want to speak to the procurator urgently. He has a bag, and something in the bag is moving. It's about the size, it could be, maybe he captured a cat and holds a cat in there. Who knows? I don't know. Do you know? You don't know. There's something moving in it anyway, and he looks very stressed, and the sweat is just absolutely on his forehead. But say just after midnight, the alarm is sounded, and patrols are going out into the streets. Is Lady Taralese doing anything at that point, or just staying held up? Okay, let's do. I saw your note now. Do you want to do the roll?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. You have to, of course, spend fate die for this.
Yep.
So, and that will give you 46. Nice. Do you want to hide your working or not this time? If Malik has walked off a bridge into the first, she might not have to hide anything this time.
Yeah, I think we're kind of beyond pretense, and especially if he's in the water, he's not going to be able to detect anything anyway.
Yeah, no, probably not. It's a bit too far away. It's just the one fate die that will, light. It's etheric mass worth about a fate die, and it's not going to be quite enough for that. But okay, so what you stretch out your etheric senses to look over the valley. You can feel absolutely no residue from any fresh spellcasting. There is no the typical telltale signs of that black icky etheric ichor that necromancy tends to leave behind itself. It's just not there. There's nothing. If Malik did something, then Malik would have, in game terms, spent a lot of extra fate dice to hide this thing. Like, you see through a single die worth of hiding with this working. But there is something else about the land. Sense that like a switch was thrown somewhere. Not here in Arhem. You don't even know where. But something has happened.
I have a decent idea after seeing into Nin's mind.
And it's not any of the traditional schools of magic that you feel that you know about. Like, if this was pyromancy, you could see the signs of that. If this was someone else using mentalism, you definitely identify that. Tectonic summons, the Kmorda druids. No idea what this is. Incredibly old, though. Incredibly old.
She'll kind of come out of it and look at Nin and say, "This definitely wasn't Malik. Someone else, though. Something else."
How wasn't this Malik?
I don't know. All I know is it's not like anything I've ever felt before.
Nin sits down, brings out a new clay tablet, and writes down, "And then the Shagulites conducted a nefarious, unholy ritual of extreme necrokinetic potency, raising the dead from the Arhem cemetery."
So we're just gonna blame them anyway.
It was definitely the Shagulites, she says.
Of course. As far as the courts are concerned, it was totally the Shagulites. It's all Malik. He ran as soon as he rose the dead. We have multiple eyewitnesses we can call on for that.
A clear sign of guilt, I would say.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Don't we have an Inquisitor coming back to town soon?
Just
hopefully.
might.
But I've been gathering he's not precisely all that he seems. He seems a little bit more crusadery than inquisitorial.
I meant for the arresting of the Shagulites we want to have brought to court. That's what they do, isn't it?
Oh, certainly. Well, I have to admit, I don't think I've ever actually seen him burn anyone, but I know I've seen Balan cut people down previously, but that was years ago.
Like there would be an exception
It's
made
such a
here.
good thing he has Balan by his side to assist with things.
Great thing. It's an awesome thing.
I feel like this would probably justify a burning for him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, certainly. Actually, I wonder if we could get, who was it? Well, no matter. I know I saw someone on there. Maybe we can get the dragon to come back and cleanse the town.
Oh, some
Maybe.
dragon's fire.
As long as we're out of town when that happens.
Oh, of course, of course.
Meanwhile, in a different part of the island, I'm gonna cut back to our friends crossing the frozen wastes. Because if Taralese stays in the tavern, I'll do a montage of when the sun rises afterwards. You have to still walk your way back to Arhem, of course, across these frozen lands, Praanz and Erald. And
Sorry we couldn't save your man.
Yeah, he has disappeared in the night, and there is no trace of him when the sun comes up. As you continue on this day of no, it's not Tarantula. On the 22nd, if you will. If you march on hard now, so it takes 2 days. You should be walking basically all day on the glacier, one more night, and then arrive at Arhem at noon. It's a 2-day journey, right? And you've walked half a day, so you need to walk 1.5 more. And it is cold up here in this part of the world. I'd have to do with Arctic, polar type of. There we go. Large amounts of snowfall today, and 0 Fahrenheit. You're all quite well equipped for this type of weather, though, which is nice. It's a good thing to have nice and warm clothes on the journey. There's not much happening on this particular day as you march. Let's see. What do you do for this evening, though? I think there is there. I have to ask a question here too.
So I do need to ask, priest, do we know what that creature was? And do we know if it was controlled?
Yes. Directly targeted. I'm sure of it.
Excellent.
I will bet Balan's poor soul on it. Which I guess I already have.
So we'll be making some arrests when we get back to town?
There will be no arrests. I will beat that Shagulite with my stick until it's unconscious.
Erald will have vengeance.
Well, I would like you to at least do me up a clay tablet that I can present in court when I explain why they were beaten senseless and I wasn't able to put them in prison.
Sure. My crew will send your crew something.
Excellent. That's all I need. I just need to be able to put the proper paperwork in.
It's unforgiven what's happened to Balan.
I agree.
Hopefully he makes his way back safely. He's quite the fighter.
I think it's a very, very muted atmosphere among the Wolfkin and the soldiers. Like, some of the soldiers didn't even wake up in time to see the thing, but since there is now open talk of abomination and monster, everyone is on the lookout. Like, the Wolfkin have their bows ready with an arrow on the string all the time, even though it makes it more awkward for them to run. The soldiers, I'm not sure if they're carrying the swords in their hands, but it's definitely gonna be ready to be drawn. If any one of them have a crossbow, it's gonna be loaded and ready to go. I'm guessing, right, Sin? We're not taking any chances here?
Oh yeah, no, totally have crossbows out, like, watching the skies.
Any little noise, it's just like...
Twang.
I like to think Praanz and Erald just seem...
The Shagulites!
Exactly.
Unconcerned about what's going on around them, and they're still just having their own conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let the subordinates do what they do, and we need to talk shop.
If anything, actually, Erald probably has gone more silent than anything else.
Oh,
and thinking of his alternatives here at this point, seeing that his fire tongue has been easily bested, now having to figure out another solution.
It's just a smoldering type of silence, right?
Yeah, it's definitely that. It's that one you don't want to be on the other end of.
If it helps, priest, you will have the full military support when we come back.
Mm-hmm. I think someone is ready to kick down some doors.
She definitely is.
She gets back at noon of the 23rd.
I was ready to kick down doors before the creature. And now there's been zombies on top of that?
Mm-hmm.
Jaska knows that Praanz is coming back to a ruined apocalyptic town. This is not going to go well. I'm going to round up every Shagulite I can find. I might not get Malik, but I'll get the rest of them.
Well, I mean, you know, as a commander, because Praanz is one of those, now, your command rating in game terms means that you can conduct, like, if there is a field battle, you can command a squad. That is how high ranked you are in terms of military matters. So, 8 soldiers under your command, you can handle them in a field of battle, and that's about it. You don't technically have the rank in the ability at this point to command 500 soldiers. That would require you to level up command twice. On the next rank, you can command a Centuria, which is 80 soldiers, and the one after that, you get the 500, if I recall correctly. But, I mean, you do have your documentations, and you can think a bit like a commander already because you have the ability. And you do have that garrison of soldiers, you have sailors, you have the Galbalon lying in the Firth. You can basically take over military command over everyone there. And if you can get the locals to help out as well, you might be able to raise a small militia of a couple of hundred more from, or at least 100 or so more from the local Marjurans. You don't know if they're good soldiers or whatnot. But that would be, you know, an army of, about 500 who could march on the Iron Tower if you want them to. This is something that you have the power to do by the powers vested in you by the clay tablets you carry from Tresilva.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't say you can conduct a military campaign. It says you have command over the colony now, do whatever you like. And that is within the span of what you could do.
Yeah, I can't march them forward, but I can take the town.
Yeah. And it would take to march that army all the way to the Iron Tower. That's going to take a while, probably about a week. So you'd have to tell the convoy that it would have to delay its departure a while, because a week there and a week back. It always is slower to march with an army because you need to have like all the food and stuff than it is to walk. Yeah, exactly. Than it is to walk just a small group like you guys are now. It takes about twice as long at least. So that you, the player, knows that a military campaign where you drag an army to sack the Iron Tower is something that you have the capacity to command. I guess that might be something that Praanz will in fact decide on arrival. We will find out soon enough.
Depends on how badly the zombies screwed with our allies, I guess?
That's a fair point. Meanwhile, yes, you are marching over the glacier. It's a long day. Do you want to do a forced march to arrive a little bit earlier in Arhem than planned? You are all now rested because you did have a night of rest. Like nothing more happened that night than that.
The faster we can get there, probably the better. Obviously, I don't know about the zombies yet, but I do know that the Druid Temple has been desolated, and we have been personally attacked by some horrid creature. So.
Indeed.
She has a plan in mind. She wants to get back and enact it.
Yep. Stone rolls for forced march. Oh, look at that.
Praanz is a woman on a mission.
Indeed. And so is, in fact, Erald. Erald is highly motivated now, isn't he?
Yep. It's almost like he's got a reason to get back or something.
Yeah. Why don't we roll? Sin can roll for the human soldiers. I'll roll for the wolfkin. Oh my god! They have no...
They're like, terrified.
Yes,
they really
we are
don't
noping out of this place. Can you describe their
We
faces?
no longer wish to be out in the open where that thing could grab us. Yes, we will absolutely march very, very quickly.
Garrison.
Oh yeah, no.
The
It's totally the, quick, Mr. Bean's quick walk, slow down, quick walk, slow down.
The garrison has ballistas. This is good.
The entire party is practically running home.
Yeah, pretty much. And this is the wolf.
We'll be safe at Arhem.
You have with this an amazing feat. The soldiers have 2 6s. Praanz, I'm going to give Praanz a point of exhaustion for doing the forced march. But with this amazing achievement, and of course the Wolfkin are being pathfinders, all of this, so we don't have to roll for that because they know this terrain and so on. But with this amazing achievement, you're going to cut travel time quite considerably. Let's see now. There's like 6s and stuff in here. Why don't we say, instead of arriving at noon the 23rd, why don't you actually arrive in the evening of the 22nd? How about that? Or late at night, the night between the 22nd and the 23rd. You just keep walking during the night.
Yeah.
And as the day breaks of the 23rd, you will get there.
We get there just as the sun's coming up kind of thing?
Yeah, just about. So that is lovely for you guys.
That puts us all on the same timeline again, doesn't it?
It does, just about. The morning of the 22nd is some things to cover in Arhem, because of course that is the morning after all the mayhem happened. And let's revisit that really quickly with a quick summary of Arhem the morning after the dead rose.
Arhem, the mayhem.
Arhem the mayhem. Malik is nowhere to be seen. Lady Taralese, if you slept at all during the night, did you?
He definitely did not. Just, steadily drinking wine.
Are you sure you didn't get drunk enough to pass out?
Oh, please. She's a noble. She's a professional.
She is indeed. I'm going to say that Nin didn't sleep either, so both of you have a point of exhaustion. When the morning comes, the town will be in a very quiet mood. Everyone is on edge. Rumors abound. You will have heard from the garrison that the dead, because again, Koriman and Jaga will be able to supply you with some information from there as well, that any body part, anyone dead inside the garrison rose, including that burned corpse of not Travinder da Holmes.
Hey, that was moved. Malik did take it with him. Whether he had it as a snack or not, no one knows.
No one knows.
I sure did not. I left the body and I took the organs, please.
Oh, fair enough. So the body moved without the organs. It was apparently stopped by chopping it to pieces and then taking each and every piece that was still moving, like arms grabbing, legs trying to walk even though there was no perches, head biting anyone who come close, and then just burned on a fire. And that is the solution that the garrison has used for all the dead in the cemetery as well. They went out overnight and formed shield walls, and some soldiers broke and ran away and will not be quite the same ever again because they have seen the dead walking. The atmosphere in town right now is slightly muted. In fact, there were a couple of soldiers coming out of the swamp, walking. They were walking by the unicorn sometime at 5 a.m. These bodies must have been in the water for a few days, so they're completely bloated, stinking horribly. You can't even recognize them anymore. Like, they had the leather jerkins of camp guards, but they have burst from the swelling of the bodies as they were walking down the street and just kind of being confused, slightly mindless, if you will. And yeah, they had to be hacked to pieces as well. More than one person.
That was great for morale.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was terrible. These were listed as missing soldiers. They were presumed taken by fuzzards. They were not taken by fuzzards.
Now, hang on, didn't one of them get his head to go splat? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the head. There is not much remaining of that head on that particular bloated body. This is correct. The other one just had a throat. No, that was a drowning. It was actual drowning. Yeah. But yeah, there was a splatted head. So, what will Lady Taralese do on the 22nd of Misiska, the morning after all these horrors unfolded? If there is anything you want to do before Praanz and Erald arrives, this is the time.
So she's definitely going to begin encouraging people to, if you don't need to be here, now's probably a good time to get on the ships.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. I have a feeling that a certain privateer crew will do just that. The Reaver's daughter will quickly fill up with sailors and various marines, Kakiba and Callisto and the others, like Pursusa. She has her arm still in a sling from being broken after having fought some, what do we call them again? Shit goblins?
Something like that.
Yes. Otherwise, yeah, exactly. This is absolutely what's going on. The sulfur camp remains locked. There is no production happening there right now, as far as you know, which is concerning. No one has seen or heard from Bodeville Scoffer for a while, probably because nobody's really asked.
I think at this point, since she kind of confirmed last night that it wasn't Malik, that at least unofficially it wasn't Malik who did the raising. She'll tentatively return to the garrison if it leads to start packing her things or having her things be packed up together, and to figure out what all's the hot gossip going on about who all's blaming whom for what.
Yeah, it's a buzzing hive of whispers of all sorts of. I mean, some people are guessing the Digitalonga because nothing happened here in town before this convoy came around. Dragon, rising dead. Clearly, it's something to do with the convoy. Maybe it's the Inquisition. That doesn't make any sense. Everybody's second guessing themselves. Who could have done this? Some people are blaming the Shagulites, but it's kind of part of just the whole buzz of we don't know what's going on.
Taralese is happy to help with spreading the rumor. You know, I heard that Malik went disappearing in the middle of the night. Had a rather large pack with him.
Fishy. If she is looking for the procurator at all, I don't know if she would do that.
Yeah, she definitely would. Trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, we haven't seen him for ages. The procurator. He is, sitting in, his office. Stacks of papers around. Nin will be with you at all times, by the way. She's armed now. She has dropped the whole pretense of being an accountant. She has her sword. And the procurator is sitting there looking up, very beady, glassy eyes. There is a bottle of something very strong on the table. He hasn't been imbibing this night. It probably still is on the binge, in fact. And he's looking up at you and... Oh, you. Then he's looking towards Nin. How are your report coming along?
This is why nothing was done military-wise. Praanz is gonna be so mad.
How is your report? I'm sure I'll get a glowing review.
Oh, I can assure you, the Inquisitor will make sure you get a glowing review.
Oh, Lady Taralese, lady. Whatever happened to your estate? I heard a rumor from Silesia. You never told me, though. You always only talked to my wife. Am I not worthy of speaking to?
Probably a reason for that.
Apologies, you were too busy gushing about your horse. And how excited you were for it and to finally have a proper hunt.
Curses on that dragon!
I do have another horse I can offer you.
Another horse? Well, that will be something, I suppose.
I'm sure with enough polish and enough
I'll
brushing.
go riding! And he stands up and, all papers fly off the desk. The glass kind of tumbles over it and spills all over some of the probably important documents. Let's go riding. If nothing else, before the end. The dead rising, the dragon flying. At this point, into the room comes someone you haven't actually met yet. Which is, I don't know if that's good or bad. Might be either way. This fellow. He, how should I describe him? He is very academic. He has black robes. He has a haircut that is just straight down like so. And very alert eyes, I would say. He's looking around him with a bunch of scrolls under his arm. And looking at the procurator, and then looking at you, and then looking at the procurator.
Yes, speak to the room. Don't worry, you can say you told him.
There is no sign of the dragon. None. No. None. No sighting of the dragon for days. Ever since it flew over... I can't believe I missed that, he says.
I'm sorry, and you are?
Trodax Draconicus, Magister of Draconic Lore.
Tell me, are dragons known for striking deals with people?
Not in the slightest. Why would they?
Just an idle curiosity. It seems rather strange that the timing of the dragon's attack.
Whatever do you mean?
Well, I just mean that it's all rather odd how quickly all of these different events are all happening one after the other.
Yes, it is. I agree. Yes. He puts down some of his documents, takes out a pipe, lights it on the lantern. I can report to the procurator that there was some kind of magical event taking place last night. No doubt associated with the risen dead. I don't know how, though. I would have to... But I am not a master of necromancy or such like at all. Ugh, those forbidden arts. No, I am a student of dragons. And other beasts. Yes,
And what is it you think happened then? You say a magical event.
I am at a loss. 20 years of studies, and I am at a loss. Can you believe he takes a swig of whatever is left of that drink? Can you believe it? That very night, a knight visited me in the tower. He called himself Arn, and we drank together, and then I passed out, and in the morning, he and the dragon was gone.
So, you spoke with the dragon?
Oh yes, many times I had the honor of doing so. Yes, Blatifagus the Pale. We even played Smickleboard once or twice, but I had to be careful because when he was in a bad mood, he might eat me. So I had an escape route. I had a secret ledge I could be on. I could speak to him from a safe distance. He never caught me twice, I'll tell you that much.
And this Arn fellow, what does he look like?
Oh, a most imposing fellow. Tall, at least 6 feet, maybe taller even. Almost as wide. A knight. He had, chains. Yes, hard armored, armed with a sword. But his face, I'll never forget his face. Half melted. Indeed, he had been afflicted by dragon's fire. He had been burned by a dragon. He had, and he kept the tail of the dragon in a bag in his pouch. I even had the chance to study it. It was quite remarkable. He told me that he had confronted Blatifagus before, and he was now here to vanquish the beast once and for all. Oh yes, quite a fascinating man. His side, I had the opportunity to study it, and he was quite insensitive to all pain in those melted parts of his side. Yes, very fascinating. In fact, he could even heat his blade with his breath, causing it to catch fire. Some kind of transference of essence had happened between him and the dragon in his last encounter, I suspect.
So I guess more important question, as he's describing Arn, is that matching up with whatever she was able to catch of the figure that was on the dragon she saw?
Yep. I'm sure you've heard the tale from the intrepid Mercury Mine explorers as well, having spent time in the Unicorn. And, of course, the good privateer captain never passes up an opportunity to boast about his friendship with said knight. So yes, it's a perfectly matching description.
So the dragon is just fucked off then?
He blinks a couple of times at the language. Yes, he has. Or
please, keep
possibly. Up. Wait. I heard testimonials from people that someone was riding the creature. Was Arn flying on the dragon? Is this what you
Yes. Keep up.
Oh, Arn made a deal with a dragon instead of slaying it.
I don't know. I'm supposing it. I saw a figure riding on the dragon. I can't imagine that the dragon's just like, oh yes, feel free, climb on my back. I will give you a ride around.
No, of course not. Of course, the dragon would never do that. Only there has to be a very compelling reason. Yes. So Arn must have had some kind of leverage over him. Fascinating.
I don't know. I heard something about there was a giant smickleboard somewhere.
Yes. I played with a dragon on the smickleboard. Yes, he had a smickleboard. What does that have to do with anything?
Are you familiar with the different variations of smickleboard?
Oh yeah, quite a few.
Perhaps the dragons have their own.
Fascinating. Well, he is an avid player. He starts taking notes again and starts theorizing. He has forgotten everything about Restless Dead or Undead or what have you. He is adding to his dissertation on dragon lore and is thus lost for the world.
Oh, great. I started up the academic on the nerd route.
Yeah. Some of us will be familiar with the feeling. Is there anything else, Taralese, you want to pursue in town this day?
She definitely wants to figure out if there's been any additional rumors about what happened to, blanking on his name, Shakello.
Bodville Scoffer. No, the rumor is that Digita Longa tried to assassinate him, and he was very wounded and went to the infirmary. No, he went to the Druids' temple, the Kmorta temple. No, he was killed and thrown in the bay.
So those are the three prevailing rumors.
Yep.
Well, I think we can successfully mark off that he, even if he was at the infirmary, he no longer is. Considering I'm guessing that place is a smoldering pile by now.
It will be soon enough. The procurator has not...
Picturing like a disembodied spleen, just like...
The procurator has not ordered the infirmary burned, because he is not ordering much of anything at this moment. He is way too drunk to take control over things.
Oh no, I meant just maybe inevitably it ended up burning down when they were trying to cordon off
Riots.
quarantine the undead and burn them. Given the proximity to the graveyard.
I mean, yes, but on the other hand, they are also terribly superstitious and scared of the Shagulites, even if Malik is not inside the infirmary, so I don't think they want to cause any harm to that place.
Ah, good, so we just need to wait for the fear of the other gods to come and be put into them.
Yes. They're on the way.
Praanz is on her way.
They're on their way.
Erald, your ears start burning. Praanz, your nose starts twitching. And you sneeze.
Exactly. Shall we skip ahead then until the arrival of the Inquisitor and the very angry Digita Longa agent?
Yeah, again, it's probably mostly going to be, bureaucratic things, taking advantage of the chaos to gather additional fuel for the fire to present to the courts.
Indeed. Oh yes, you will do a lot of that. It's like the procurator is a broken man. And I'll add one thing as he's sitting there and just kind of looking things over. And he's starting to talk. And he's just like, it was supposed to be so easy. It was supposed to be my way home. It was, and that's basically the procurator during the day.
So I guess maybe during this, what Taralese would be doing is, yes, this was supposed to be so easy. Wouldn't it be so much easier if you just handed it off to someone else to deal with all these problems?
Duty weighs heavily. Are you trying to talk him into giving you command of the garrison? Because you could, you know.
Yeah, you know. Let's go for it.
I'm gonna give you like 2 bonus dice for him being ridiculously drunk. I guess you might use your Maculator as well.
I mean, I'm perfectly happy to use my mentalism magic too, just to nudge him along.
Tell me what you want to do and we'll solve it.
Yeah, you know, kind of walking up and pouring him an additional drink. It's just, you know, it's such a hard life that you have right now. Really, I mean, all you want to do is hunt and perhaps occasionally have a good game of chance. A little bit of betting going on the side, you know. Get away from the wife and kid.
Mm-hmm. Spend a fate die. I've spent it for you. Roll 4 dice. You will need. Let's see how many successes. So this is a mental suggestion, basically. No, this is a versus roll, by the way. So he's gonna get to roll a dice as well to resist you. You get 2 extra dice for him being drunk, but he will get extra dice too because you're not the first one doing mentalism on him.
This poor guy.
Yeah,
He's not gonna even have much of a mind left once we're all collectively finished with him.
Did he ever have one to begin with?
So you have 6 dice on your side. And he has, let's see now, the poor procurator has how much wind does he have? He has 2. I'm going to add 2 for him for previous manipulations. So 6 versus 4.
So my 6 versus his 4, or... Yep. Okay.
Oh my god! That's... Oh dear. He is now your puppet. Like, even if I roll 4 6s, I can't win. You're never gonna roll this well again, are you aware of that?
No, I'm not.
As you are laying this spell, are you even spending any extra fate? You don't even have to hide your mentalism this time, do you?
Nope.
You enter his mind and you can see everything. His mind is laid bare. Everything. Malik has done something to him. No, it's not Malik. It's someone else who has done work from a distance.
Do they have the same icky feeling as what I got off of Nin when I was sifting through hers?
Yep. Yep. And has planted a whole bunch of suggestions within him with very powerful magic. Some of the most powerful you've probably ever seen. But you also gain access to all his memories and all his thoughts and... Oh look, here is the plot all laid bare for you.
Nin, get a tablet, quick!
Exactly. Gotthard knows, spoke to, has been in connection with. You see a scene, a memory from him from a year ago, speaking to Duke Jalsop da Kaelve himself, the leader of the Order of the New Sphere, the very religious order that Goba da Grummi, director of the Talonga, is a member of. And they were making plans. Duke Jalsop was creating... He was the man behind the word Molbrock. He called himself Morbrock walking around here in town. He was the one who masterminded the whole smuggling operation. The whole plan was to have the procurator arrest, find the smuggled swords, and then use da Kaelve as the scapegoat, so Yalsop could take over the entire sulfur trade. With the procurator's help.
Praanz broke it all.
Yep.
Well, Taralese just found her own dragon horde.
Yep. Let's see now. Taralese now gets, how about, 3 fate dice for, from the chalice for destiny.
Whew.
I think that seems, because this was like the gold mine for Taralese. That was, in fact, all the fate dice that were left in the chalice.
Well then, so yeah, she gets to be the one sitting on the throne when Praanz and Erald come back.
Indeed.
Sorry, your throne's gonna be short-lived, buddy.
Did not see this
no.
coming. But in the early hours of the morning of the 23rd, there might be a blizzard up on the snow, on the ice, but it's not that here. It is rather scattered clouds. So yeah, it's like 4 or so in the morning when Praanz and Erald finally arrive together with the guards, having marched all night. You are not in a good mood. You are not happy about, well, anything, really.
I suppose walking through the state of the town and what it's in is only going to make the two of them far more angry.
Probably, yes. There is a lot of smoke, smell of burnt over the entire town. People are scared, like jumpy as you run past them. It doesn't take much to understand that something has happened here. There's whispers of dragons. There's whispers of other things. The cemetery, you can see, has been all dug up. Like, there's holes everywhere in the cemetery. And there's a big bonfire next to it that's just smoldering.
I will stop a soldier. Soldier, what the hell happened here?
Colonel, the dragon came, and then the dead rose.
And what was done about it?
We've burnt all the dead bodies.
That's it? Nothing else was done? No provisions for the safety of the town? No, where?
I mean, we've dealt with the problem. There are no dead bodies left. Colonel, we've no orders.
For now. Do you know the source of the infection? Do you know where the dead were rising from? Do you know why they were rising?
No. Well, the cemetery and, yeah.
Go about your business. We will talk later.
Yes, Colonel. Does a salute.
And she is now just like...
livid.
That angry mom walk. She is just storming to the garrison. She is ready to give the proctor a piece of her mind.
Yeah, she will march up to the garrison. I think Lady Taralese is probably asleep at this hour, to be honest. It's been a long day, and it's like 5 a.m. Everybody is sleeping. The soldiers will let the good colonel in, and yeah, you will basically rouse the procurator from bed. I guess you just walk into his bedroom. Hot
I was
on
gone
the
for
heels.
what, 2 days? What the hell happened?
Procurator's... his wife sitting there, huh? Looks towards the bedside table where there is still a bottle of something very strong.
When is the last time you were sober?
Couple of days ago.
Praanz has to literally, she stops for a moment and closes her eyes like she's collecting herself for a second. Sober up. I'm taking command.
What? You can't do that.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
Procurator of this.
She shows him the clay tablets. Get fucking sober.
Takes a candle to read. Reads several times. This takes like 4 times for him to read the clay tablet, because first, he's recently woken up. Second, he's still drunk. Third, it's kind of dark. It's like... and when it finally dawns on him, when you see the penny finally drops, he goes... And it just kind of drops the clay tablet to the floor. Yes, Colonel.
Praanz will pick it back up and walk out.
You're in command.
Sober up.
Yes,
you will be needed.
Colonel. What do you want, Colonel? I need some mocha.
Just get sober. And she walks out and shuts the door.
Stumbles up and shouts for mocha. That's the Trakorian coffee. What is Praanz's next item on the agenda?
She goes and starts to gather the troops.
Yep.
And follows Eralda. We need to find Lady Teresa. We need to make a plan.
All of this will be done. Within half an hour, the troops are lining up in the courtyard. Lady Teresa is probably woken by now. And Nin certainly is strapping a sword belt to her. Yeah, everybody's gathering in the courtyard.
What happened while I was gone?
I think perhaps we should take a moment. I have a lot for you.
We also have a lot.
She'll say, so perhaps let's organize what you want, and then we'll sit down to some breakfast and some mocha, maybe some tea, and then we can exchange.
Okay. Provisions for the town need to be made. Cleanup needs to start, and we need to find the source of whatever is causing the dead to rise. Because as soon as somebody else dies, I have a strong suspicion that they will also rise.
I can try to explain a little bit of that, but over breakfast.
Excellent. I will have the troops start cleaning up, and I also need Shagulites brought in for questioning. So go start knocking on the infirmary.
They are making their salutes and running down to the infirmary. Now you are in control.
Yeah, once Praanz starts to simmer down a little bit, Taralese will immediately go towards the servants and begin doing more of the administrative things, summoning Corman to help get the staff whipped up and go get breakfast laid out and all that.
Yeah, Praanz will obviously be filled in on the dragon and the undead, obviously the Dead Rising, which you have as a player witnessed. And I don't know if you have heard about the dragon, though, as a player.
I was not here for that one.
So, yeah, do you want to describe it, Sin?
Yes, there was, what was that, 2 days ago now? Yes, a dragon came flying into town, burning, mostly down by the wharves, truthfully. Not too much damage, though. Surprising, very surprising. It did light the ocean on fire for the water on fire for a little bit, but there was a man riding on it. Apparently one arm.
Oh, yes, we've met.
Of course you have.
Did tell Malachi to leave that damn horde alone, but he doesn't listen.
Well, no use crying over fire that's already been breathed. Anyway, as for the dead rising, it seems that there's something bigger at play here. I don't know what precisely. It's honestly well beyond me, and it seems to be well beyond even any of the other magic users here right now.
Possibly something to do with all the druids being slaughtered?
Oh, that's new.
We went up to the druid temple, and everybody was dead. There was a bloodbath.
And for once, it wasn't you.
I haven't killed anybody yet. I'm starting to get agitated.
Well, I suspect there might be a time for that fairly soon. Although, more importantly, I have something very disturbing. And, Erald, you are going to find this most interesting. By the way, where's Balin?
It's a sore subject. He was... Speak.
You literally see you literally see Erald kind of like take his quarterstaff and hit it down. Enough. The Shagulites. We need to deal with them.
Oh, it goes so much deeper than that. And she kind of leans in conspiratorially. Nin did apparently go to the Iron Tower. And despite their best efforts to spin their own tale, it seems it's been confirmed that there is someone dealing with demons out there.
Yeah, we got attacked.
Oh, wonderful. So it's all falling into place. But she also saw someone there. And he's been sticking his fingers into other people's pies, even down here. Especially the useless slab of fat that likes to ride horses. That you have so wonderfully taken over from. She's still looking at Praanz. It seems that someone rather unhealthy is doing rather unhealthy things for us, and rather unholy things as well. And she'll go on to describe what she had seen from Nin's memories about the tentacled and malformed creatures, and the man in green, and the man with green skin, and he was in black robes, wasn't it?
Purple, in fact.
Purple. And then also the staff that she saw him using. As a kind of, I assume that it was probably being used as a focus just based on her knowledge of magic use.
Yes, you would guess as much. It was not a mundane item, no.
Yeah, she'll describe it to Erald, and does that ring any bells for you? For any heretical items of interest?
I'm writing. There we go.
Definitely demons. Definitely demonology. And we got basically attacked with by a monster the size of a horse. It had the fly face, crab legs, chicken feet, and had the wings of a bat. It literally scooped up Balin and ran off with it. Fear the worst.
My condolences.
So to that point, back to the Shagulites.
Stay on topic.
I am unfortunate to inform you. Unfortunately, in the undead attack, he disappeared, carrying quite a few things with him.
It's not a big island.
No, but he went off into the water.
Swim?
Apparently, one of my informants down by the fisheries told me he just took a long walk off a short pier.
That would make my job really easy if he did. but I need a body.
I will provide you many.
So, okay. So, hypothetically here, for a moment. Nin was brought to the Iron Tower. Shagulite is missing. The dead rise. And my fire tongue has literally been scooped up. This is turning into be a great turn of events.
There's a knock on the door.
Enter.
A servant comes in. It's the Major Domo. You recognize him with all the big mustaches and yeah. Excuse me, Colonel, my lady. And now he is being very deferential because the lady is obviously in the good graces of the new commander of the garrison. There is a man here who insists that he has to speak to the procurator, but seeing as the colonel is now in charge, I thought he's a local, you see, yes.
Bring him in.
Yes, Colonel. Through the door comes a very, very, very tired Shulaban Addertongue that I don't know if any of you have made acquaintance with yet. He Weasley Man, we could call him. Weasley Man. He is, I'll describe him to you. Need to get back to the description. He looks absolutely exhausted. He's panting. The hair is just sticking to his forehead. He is... he looks like he's been running a marathon, basically. As he's panting like this, you can see that his tongue is in fact cloven in his mouth.
Praanz will get up and give him a glass of water.
Very,
and
very
lock
small.
The door.
Very like a wiry person.
She will lock the door as she moves around him.
The dead have risen.
Again?
The dead. All of them. Karuri. The dead.
Okay.
Thousands.
Praanz unlocks the door and walks out of the room.
Thousands. Hey, Karuri. They're rising.
This isn't gonna go well.
I've been running for 2 days. A day.
Sit down before you pass out.
He passes out.
Taralese just takes a drink of her breakfast wine, of her, just her morning champagne.
Mimosa.
Mimosa, that's the term. Of her mimosa. Kind of motions for one of the servants. Could you get him in a chair or something? Maybe a little bit more comfortable.
Praanz turns back around. How many soldiers do you need to take the Iron Tower?
Who are you asking now?
She's looking at Erald.
Erald has no idea of how many the Shagulites might be.
All of them.
So we will torture the ones that we get from the infirmary to get more information.
Unless they're...
Unless what?
The infirmary, the soldiers who were sent there can report that it is in fact empty.
Lovely.
Yes, so we do have to figure out what the Shagulite had a hand in all of this. Honestly, from the sounds of it, if anything, yes, we should march the army right across.
This
Najura
seems...
and take the tower out, along with everyone here on the island, personally. But from the sounds of it, we might have bigger problems.
Yes, I need to go deal with more dead.
Everyone but us, right? When it comes to taking...
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I just wanted a clarification there.
Sorry.
Yes, but...
I need to go.
To the point before you leave. We have bigger fish to fry if this is not actually Shagulites.
No, it seems like it's the land.
Right. And this is the only time you will hear this come out of my mouth as I look around the room. I'd rather have the Shagulites with us to deal with this. If this is something that we cannot deal with ourselves.
So should I just send a messenger to the Iron Tower then?
Find Malik. Start with that.
Okay.
And this is... That's the only real option. Because this is not creationist. This is definitely something outside of the enemy of my enemy is my friend in this situation.
Okay.
On that bombshell of a node, Jessica, did you want to wrap that up?
So, Praanz is going to have the Navy basically drag the waters looking for Malik, and she's going to start getting provisions together to go over to the next town where the dead are rising again.
Yes, that location would be... I will activate the map of Marjura. That Shalaban spoke of would be, Karuri. Also known
right near the dig site.
as the place where the archaeologist went to dig.
Excellent. That's where we're going. With an army.
With an army. And on that... we will leave our intrepid agents for this time and see are these the last days of Arhem, or will France prevail in possibly a field battle against Risen? I don't know yet. We will have to find out.
You know shit's bad when the Inquisitor wants to work with the Necromancers.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
And they might find me.
They might.
I'm having my whole Navy look for you.
Well, so I guess in theory, Taralese could maybe help with that with chases?
Yeah, possibly.
For magic?
Yes, that could help. That could definitely help. She has many talents, absolutely. And in her tradition of magic, I will remind you, there is clairvoyance. You do, like, every spellcaster in this world can do an astral projection, leave their own body, travel in their astral form. That is a dangerous thing to do, though. If you get disconnected from your body, you're done. You will wander as a ghost aimlessly forever. Mentalists and some others can, however, do clairvoyance without doing astral projection. So you can let your mind wander over great distances, oceans and continents and so on and so forth. So basically you can do the same function as an astral projection without the risks. So that is something to maybe keep in mind as we start gathering information from vast distances around here, and so on. Now, having said that, it's not necessarily easy to do it. We're wrapping up the session here, but I just wanted to tell you about the difficulty so you can do some planning. I don't know if I put that in there.
I've already pre-established where I am, so you don't need to worry about me sort of reacting to information I would not have had when I made that decision.
For sure. So, astral projection is... within sight is difficulty 2, on the same landmass is difficulty 3. So, you can watch anywhere across all of Marjura if you have 3 successes on your roll. Which is hard for a novice like yourself. But we just saw what you did with the poor procurator, so it's not impossible, is it?
On that note, Praanz will also probably leave most of the administrative stuff of running the actual garrison, other than the military stuff, to Lady Taralese.
That sounds good to me. She suddenly rose to great prominence in Arhem. Silesia is very jealous now, and will be very, very, very ingratiating. But we'll deal with that next session when we return to our heroes. Thanks for watching and listening, everyone. I don't know. Things is going down, you guys. Oh my god, what is happening on Majura? Wait until they hear about this in Trasilva. See you all in 2 weeks.
Night, folks.
Thanks, folks.
Night, everyone.